Hello, my friends, and welcome to an extremely special episode of Lock Talk. At this point, it's been so long that it's weird calling it Lock Talk because we just won't ever do them. But hey, when we started the show, it was to do 1 or 2 episodes of Phase. So here's the pre-Phase 2 episode. This is going to be everything about Phase 2. We're going to go over Phase 2 BiS, which is largely what it's about, if I'm keeping it real with you. We'll do a BiS list where we go over Demo, Destro, and Affliction. And then we'll do the wish list, loot list, kind of like top 5 items or whatever per spec. And then we'll go per boss, per spec, and talk about little tips from each of us. I've got 3 of my besties here, my best Warlock purple pumpers here, okay? Starting with my best friend Pummel over here. How are you doing, my friend? Can you please introduce yourself to these lovely purple blasters?
Doing well. How are you, Crix?
Phenomenal.
I'm
Thank
Pummel.
you.
I play Infusion with Crix. I play Demo, and I'll be playing Affliction soon, so hello.
How do you feel about the swap?
I'm pretty excited, but it'll be bittersweet because I just kind of Demo grew on me, so we'll see how it goes. I'll just play my second lock and cheated KPs.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
to be honest, Nax is a lot of fun for Demo, but I think you're headed to green pastures with this Affliction lock right now. You think you have a lot of fun. Did you do a PTR run as Affliction yet?
Yeah, I did with Bovi's PTR group at least 2 runs on the Affliction.
Did you like it?
I couldn't see the bottom of the meter because I was cranking so much. So.
There you go, dog. Yeah. My boy Nemo, how you doing, dog? My day one, man. The guy who taught me fucking like everything about locks back in the day, bro. How you doing?
Doing excellent.
Yeah. How's the game treating you, man?
That's pretty good. Been kind of leading or like partially leading a guild on White Mane called Get Carried. And
Get Carried, gang.
Hopefully we have some nice world rankings for Ulduar.
There you go. That'll be fun. How'd you guys like Phase 1? You guys vibe out?
Kind of. Just trying to do some speed running, but a lot of focus on PTR obviously whenever it's up because we want to prog more than anything.
Yeah. How was Phase 1 in private server? You're a P server guy, so how was the first phase into TakeNote? I'll ask you the same thing because I know you are as well. But how do you think Phase 1 held up versus what you expected in Phase 1?
Speedrunning was a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. I didn't think I'd be a huge fan of it until Gothuvia's start happened. That kind of killed like a lot of my desire to speedrun and whatnot. But I actually really enjoyed this tier more than I thought I would.
That's good. Take note, brother. Gang over here. How you doing, my man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. Good.
How are you doing, brother? You want to introduce yourself just in case someone lives under a fucking rock like Patrick and doesn't know who you are?
I go by the gamer tag TakeNote. I play in the guild None of the Above, and I like speedrunning.
Yeah. The number 1 speedrunning warlock in the world in the number 1 speedrunning guild, unless something changed after like 2 days and I'm just not aware of it.
Not yet.
You are also a private server gamer. Big private server gamer. What's your thoughts on the whole classic versus private servers in Phase 1?
I mean, it's very different, right? Like, coming from the private server environment, we're used to even tier 7 being buffed by like 100-200%. But speedrunning tier 7 has been the most fun I've had so far in Classic for sure. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you think it'd be as fun as it was before? Because on private servers you weren't speedrunning, right? And you didn't speedrun in TBC, did you?
I started in BT Sunwell, and that was not nearly as fun as tier 7 for me.
There you go. That's dope. I'm glad you enjoyed it then, man. Well, we're gonna go over some BiS stuff with you playing in the background just on loop. We have a little spreadsheet. Not spreadsheet, but a little doc, little 80s we'll go over. We have the first one we're gonna go over is Affliction, just because Affliction is a popular one. Affliction, in my opinion, shares a lot of BiS with Destro. Besides scale, if you get like is this BiS? This is Phase 1. I'm sorry. If you get like a scale proc while you're lusted, or whatever, everything else you can clip it, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Starting with I guess no. Let's start about do we have it? Let me see if I have it on the other document. I want to talk about the tier 8, tier 7. I guess we can talk about tier 7 and viability of tier 8. Tier 7. Please say I have it all here. I do. It's a ghetto. Look at this ghetto slideshow. It'll work though. Doesn't show all of them. It won't work. Never mind. I'll just go here. Tier 8. The 2 set Everybody can see this? Cool. Perfect. All right. The 2 set increases the damage done of your unstable affliction by 20% and your immolate by 10%. Your 4 set increases the critical strike chance of your shadow bolt by 5% and your incinerate by 5%. Starting with affliction, how is that 2 set and that 4 set? Take note. You want to talk on that?
I mean, the 2 set is amazing, no doubt about it. The 4 set is not as amazing. Like, it's not your BiS. You don't want the 4 set if you can avoid it. But the 4 set is not that much worse than like full BiS.
Okay. Well,
That's my take on it.
The drip is impeccable.
I mean, it looks good. I'm so sad it's not full BiS to go for, because I mean,
look at it. Hey, the drip.
Yeah.
The drip is there.
Oof.
The drip's there, bro. Fantastic. Let me get a little bit of channel right here. Let me get a little bit. Can we get a little? Hey, can you do do the thing? Do the thing. The drip's fantastic. I think it's Mainmice's profile picture too. I don't know what this exactly how this fits into the Warlock lore or where this like, you know, weird beak thing comes from, but I'm with it, bro. I like it. What about Demo? Pummel? How's that 2 set 4 set for Demo?
2 sets okay. I mean, we're mostly gonna rock it because we need the hit from like the chest, but the 4 set is also just all right. I mean, if I had to wear it because I can't get 252 pieces, I would definitely rock it. It's a nice holdover.
It'd be nicer for Demo if the 4 set had Soulfire by 5% as well, since you're fishing for proc so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree on the what TakeNote said about Affliction, and for Demo I agree as well. I thought maybe for the 4 set it would kind of be like a little bit sneaky because you are shadow bolting and incinerating quite a bit in beer rotation, but like you said, like you have a whole, and then Ulduar fights are longer, so you get a large percent of the fight where you're not shadow bolting. You're just doing like a quick one to keep ISB up or something, so you actually lose a lot of value on that.
Yeah, look at the stat difference just right there between the crown and the tier helm. It's just not even close.
Not even it's insane. Let's look at the glove difference.
I don't even want to talk about Warlock glove options in Ulduar.
Oh, ew.
It's just pretty crazy, the difference on it. Yeah, but I think too, and we'll talk about this quite a, you'll hear us say this a lot, but I think that one thing everybody needs to know is that a lot of this gear is going to be contested, and I think that I would not be shocked to be in 4-piece or see yourself in 4-piece. And even if you are in 4-piece, it's a huge upgrade to what you're wearing right now. I wish I was on my other computer so I could have my document that's on the other one that shows like I have a video to be out a little bit after this, and I'm holding up like what we're wearing now in phase 1 against your BiS, and it's like 50 crown compared to like tier 7 is like 40-50 spell power. Look at that. 50 spell power, not including all the stats on it. It's crazy how big of an upgrade all of these pieces of gear are going to be, and that's including the tier pieces. So yeah, don't be shocked to be in some tier pieces, I think, right? What do you guys think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
My officers has been asking me, well, can you make like 7-8 different sets that are closely simming to full BiS, because there's no way we're giving everyone full BiS. It's too contested.
Which is and the great part about it is you're able to make a handful of different sets up, and it's not even drastic sets. Like but I will say, like, there's a BiS set. Like if we look at this in a vacuum as like the BiS set, and then you hold this compared to a set that we've made with like no hard mode loot, it's like 250 spell power difference. It's like a big difference in spell power too. That's the thing. But I think a lot of people will be, I don't think, besides, unless you're just chain feeding your Demo lock, which you guys should. I can't see a lot of people with all the loot on quick. That's gonna be, but there will be those guys out there who will get all this stuff when it drops right away, bro. You know how it is every phase. There's that one. There's a lot of them there. The loot councils that just, or their loot council.
It's hard to even justify feeding the Demo lock because there's that much competition on the pieces. Like, it'll rub somebody the wrong way if you give them like a crown, conductive seals, and Star Watcher's binding like all week 1 just for the spell power upgrade. Like, someone will be upset.
This is a side topic, but this fits perfectly right now, so we can talk about it. What do you guys think? I also agree with you where I don't think that you should chain feed Demo locks. Even as a Demo lock main, I don't think you should chain feed them. I do think this is what we can talk about for a little bit. What do you think you should give them? Right off rip, without it drops, it goes straight into the bag.
Yeah. Vezax gloves.
Vezax gloves are good.
There's a lot of like spirit crypt pieces that aren't built into a lot of people's BiS lists that Demo Locks would love, like Vezax gloves. I think they still want to rock their tier pants, or they could also go Freya pants too, since it has so much hit and like all the sockets. So they could just, you know, rock 2 sets somewhere else, and then, you know, just kind of the super uncontested items that are very, very high spell power.
There's a lot of good 252 off pieces. For example, like if you are lucky enough to get the crown on week 1, you should have your tier 7 pants ready to go, the 25 man, have them gemmed and enchanted so you can still hold your 4-piece. Because most of the demos that I know are using KT legs, and it's not that big of a difference. And you still have your 4-piece.
Good call. In terms of if you should feed your demo, oh, go ahead, take note.
I think the neck as well from Iron Council is a no-brainer for a demo.
I agree.
Haste spirit spell power.
Yeah.
I guess if you could spare the hit.
I agree with all of you. I was thinking in terms of how people feed their demos. What would you feed them, as in like weapon flare is what I'm saying. I think weapon flare drops you feed it to your demo. Because there's such a big upgrade, such a big spell power, especially flare, right? 1,000 spell power. That's what I meant. Like, would you, if this drops in your raid, are you? I'm saying if flare drops, hand it to your demo lock.
I agree.
Versus, I'm not saying we all on agreement not to feed them loot. Don't like. I mean, unless you want to, that's up to you guys. There's like this. It's like a win-win because like if you feed your demo lock, you guys, it is a lot of spell power. It's way more than it was in Nax when you get like one upgrade and it's like, oh, here's, 3 demonic pack. Now it's like it's a big one. That's up to you guys though if you want to feed them. I definitely.
When I was making the loot sheet and I put a lot of demo prio and a lot of big pieces, like the idea is if it drops, you look at the demo lock, not like it drops, it goes straight to them, because you don't want to give them too many pieces in one raid because like you need to spread the loot around. Like, that's why people raid. They want loot.
I agree. I think run them flare or weapon. That's also a good point that he makes. I say this a lot on stream, and I know Pummel does. It's just because you play Demo Lock. I'm sorry that I know we're supposed to be on your side here, but just because you play Demo Lock doesn't mean that you need the gear. Like, I'm sorry to say that. Are you hunting down the demonic packs? Are you actually trying? Are you trinket swapping beforehand so you don't accidentally proc your shit on that first one? Are you trying, are you going out of your way to make sure that you're doing your main job here? And then yes, you are. Okay, let's give him flare or let's give him something. Like, don't go, I'm bottom of the meters overall because I'm just here for demonic pack. Like, are you actually pumping? Are you doing your job? Which all of you, if you're demo, you should be, as I hope you guys are. Because if you are, that's how you get the loot. Because we'll tell you right now, you can carry Ulduar as a demo lock. Hard as shit. Pummel's done it. I've done it. You can carry it.
Those double haste pot wonton leg user demo locks make me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, dude, you guys, Demo's in a couple of spots. So is Affliction. We'll talk about both of them. This is just yeah, but I think Flare and Star Strider are good throw it to him. Other than that, I think you just, I don't know.
Another one that's not being looked at as much is Staff of Endless Winter too, since it has such high spell power as well as a bunch of spirit. So it's a really good demo option too.
And you shouldn't, which when you talk about weapons in a minute, don't be mad if you get this. This is amazing. This is a phenomenal staff for both specs.
I'll take it week 1. Yeah. It's an upgrade over my life and death.
Life and death.
And, any 252 weapon would be very happy that, or fusion blade. Really.
Yeah.
I'm down bad.
I'm down bad. All right, well, let's go over Helm first for Affliction. Oh, we talked about it earlier, but Affliction and Destro are the same stats. Obviously, Destro will kind of appreciate crit a little bit more, but not enough for nothing. I mean, to the point where maybe when we get to belt, we'll talk. I mean, I would say there's a one swap maybe on this of the whole thing, and we'll talk about it. So as we get there, we'll talk about each. Think of Aff and Destro in each one. But starting off with Crown, with his BiS, in my opinion, obviously. What do you guys want to talk about, Crown?
That item's all right, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, it's decent.
It's I don't know. I don't like it, but I recognize how good it is. It's just because the item level. Obviously, like if Call of the Worm Hunter had more stats, I'd be all about that. But I definitely think Crown is just stupid good.
I like the hit on Collar. It kind of gives you some options, but
Collar's definitely what I think we use if you need any hit at all. It's your hit protection, you know.
Like if you grab Collar, you don't need like the hit neck. You could use like the Sapphire neck or something, and kind of swap out some other hit pieces.
It helps a lot too when you swap out your wontons for tier in the beginning because you're losing like 86 hit rating. So this is an enormous piece. Also, the blue socket with 9 spell power is super nice because you know, you can take out your purified from your pennant cloak or your what's it called? Your EOE neck.
Another good one down here. What is it? Oh, Dark Whispers. Dark Whispers, I think, would be the easy one to get too.
That one's gross.
I mean, right, it'll be easy to get. It'll be one of the easiest ones to get, right? Besides your.
It's like, what are you gonna spend your badges on anyways? So you might as well just get your tier helm over Dark Whispers.
True chest.
Yeah.
Well, would you get chest or like tier helm?
It depends because there's a lot of chests that drop that are actually stronger than the tier chest in Ulduar, and you could make a lot of sets with them before your full BiS. So, and you know, maybe you take tier shoulders, so you 2-set with tier shoulders and tier legs until you get like all the hard mode pieces because that looks cooler, and I think that's one of the most important aspects of playing Warlock.
I know we're kind of overflowing with hit, but I really rely on the current tier chest for hit, and the new tier chest has like an extra 20. So I'll probably go for the chest first, just so I can itemize easier down the road.
The chest is very big. The chest is one of the biggest DPS gains.
It's all about having options too from tier 7, like having both wands like Arc Lich as well as Gemmed Wand of the Nerubians, and Surplus Limb is really nice too because when you start swapping around pieces, it's just nice to be able to swap out Spirit directly for hit on some of these items.
There you go. All right, take note. Do you want to touch on it, or do you want to touch on neck for us?
We can talk about the neck.
Talk about
like
that
obviously
neck.
our new best neck, Pendant of Fiery Havoc.
Beautiful. Look at it.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. 85 soul power, 52 hit, 46 haste rating, 1 socket, 69 stamina. Monk do us. So beautiful.
Imagine if that was a red socket, I'd probably faint.
Oh
man,
my god!
right.
Don't talk about that.
What about what's some good ones do you think otherwise? This obviously BiS, thinking of Affliction. What's a good little backup one? What's another banger if you can't get this because it's contested and they gave it to the mages? What's next?
Watchful Eye of Fate.
You have 2 necks from Iron Council, 10 man and 25 man. Both are really good until you can get the big boy.
What's this 25 man one? Sapphire, Amulet of Renewal. Holy Jesus. 53 Spirit, 1 socket, 85 spell power, 50 haste. Huge. This is another
trades the hit for spirit, so you need to find the hit somewhere else.
Yep. What about what about an option for people who aren't going to be doing any hard modes? Nemo, what do you got? Anything? I'm not doing any hard modes. I don't think we'll be able to do Flame Leviathan or Iron Council.
Even on 10 man.
No, we can do 10 man hard modes. 10 man hard modes are easy. What do you got for me?
Watchful Eye of Fate for sure, because check the stats between Watchful Eye of Fate and Sapphire Amulet, and they're almost identical. You get a little bit more haste on Watchful Eye, but you just lose like 10 spirit.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, and it's in a 10 man hard mode, which just because it says hard doesn't mean it is. But it's 10 man, so it'll be like significantly easier, even though it's on hard mode. And then of course, I think I want to throw in an honorable mention for Pendant Shallow Grave because this is a very even easier one to get than that one. If you're
read my mind, little Thorim hard mode in 10 man, that neck is real good.
A good little placeholder, a good little like 3rd place to 4th place placeholder here, boys.
There's a little bit of competition on it because some classes use that as their BiS over the 252 necks.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of H-Pals will be gunning for it, and I think Fire Mages as well. But Wormrest Necklace of Power is just really good. You could just rock the Mally neck until you get a Flame Leviathan, honestly.
We're lucky we have a really solid 226 piece. Gives a lot of longevity.
To get something else, sorry. Cool. Next, that was the easy one. Shoulders, which I think is going to be a fun one to gear up for because our best shoulders are Amos of Inconceivable Horror, and it comes from a 10 man, which I think in a way is contested, but it is a 10 man as well. So what do you guys think about the shoulders? The shoulder slot as a whole.
Pretty much what just Warlocks want this for the most part. I don't know about the other classes, but
I'm pretty sure, it's just Warlocks that is actually really, really wanted.
I think most of them just want tier, like the other classes.
Yes, yep, they want tier, yep.
Our tier is really strong as it is, which is kind of sad, because it looks a lot cooler than this, but these are just too well itemized.
I think Mage is useful with these.
Yep, everyone else uses 4-piece. Yep. So these are very uncontested. Well, they're contested between warlocks. But you guys should be looking to get this. This is 10 man. You guys shouldn't have too much trouble to get this. In the meantime, though, you can look at these tier 8s, which are you probably will have the BiS ones beforehand anyway. So you don't need to talk too much. These are there's a couple good ones, but no point wasting too much. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, unironically, I think that the Amos is probably going to be easier to get than tier shoulders early on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. In the phase 2 video, I say I list these, and I only list these because I feel like they're going to be easier to get than like every other off thing.
The conch token is a clusterfuck. Like everybody wants it. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, this is a very good raid tier to not really care about the 4 set. It's a good one. So, Cloak, take note, my friend. You want to touch on some cloaks? I heard there's a raid boss that has a couple of our cloaks, a few of them. Do you know what his name is?
I mean, we have our boy Algalon, which drops a quest item just like Saffron now that you can turn in and get this beautiful, beautiful cloak.
25 man sun glimmer cloak.
After you get the quest, go Dalaran and you get it.
Both a 25 man version and a 10 man version.
It is a super contested quest item now. Literally everyone wants it, so not gonna be easy to get.
Well, then, I mean, what would you wear if you couldn't wear sun glimmer cloak, my friend?
I would go for the Iron Council 25 man hard mode.
Okay. Drape of Mortal Downfall, which I heard is a very, very good option if you need any bit of hit as well, gentlemen. This is the best hit option.
For sure.
And then, of course, if for some reason you can't hear, I mean, not for some reason, I don't mean to disrespect you. This is actually a rough, Iron Council is kind of a rough hard mode. But if you are struggling with hard mode, there is another third cloak that also drops from Algalon. So you have Algalon 25 man, you have Algalon 10 man, which would be rather easy to get, I think, as well. It's a lesser version of this by a little bit, nothing crazy. You can see the stats like 5 haste, 13 spell power, 7 spirit. And then there's the one that TakeNote talked about. And then if you can't get this, the ultra super easy one should rather either 10 man Algalon. Actually, the 10 man Drape might be. Oh, they're both Algalon. Yeah, good luck. Either way, you got to kill Algalon, boys. Buckle up. You got to kill Algalon or you got to kill Iron Council.
Shout out to Pummel Cloak, though. It is still an amazing cloak going into Ulduar.
Good. Thank you for
That's
that.
That's crazy mileage.
Yeah.
There's a couple pieces from phase 1, like Unsullied Cuffs, Pennant Cloak, and what's the other one? There's one more, I think, out there that was really, the Trinket's really holding up right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it. All right, next up, chest, breasts, right here. I got T8 as my best in slot, with chest being, I think, I'm looking at my thing, either second or third. I think third overall DPS gain out of almost all the items coming from our tier 8.
Is that third overall because you can use every piece of the hit?
Yes, you have to be able to use 78 hit, which I think, like Pummel said earlier. Pummel, you can touch on actually. What were you saying earlier about your chest and hit?
Yeah, it's already, if you go to the one that we have currently, it's like 20 extra hit over the chest that we're using right now from the current tier. And if you're using something like Surplus Limb or another hit offhand, you could drop that offhand and use like Matriarch Spawn if you have it in your bag for some reason once you get the T8 chest.
Beautiful. What about what's a good one to where if you don't have T8 chest, because it is extremely, even though it's a normal boss, extremely contested. One of the most contested pieces of tier slots in the game, literally. What would you wear in the meantime?
Robes of Umbral Brute are amazing, as well as Radiance of the Iron Council. If you don't need the hit and then you're trying to juggle your 2 set with other items across Ulduar, these are probably your best items to do it with.
There you go. But there's one thing about tier 8. What is it, Pummel?
You can buy it from the vendor.
Can buy it. I swear to God, this is not scripted, gentlemen. We just have that at Center Chief right now, okay? You can buy it for emblems. This is what I suggest that you buy your emblems on. This, or like Nemo said, your helm, wherever you can get that 2-piece going. But I love the chest piece. So you can save your conquest up for it. How much is it? 40? 80?
Looks good.
65?
58.
Yeah, 58 is what I thought.
Thank you. All right, next up, bracers. We have these graphs of take notes reason, bro. How do you want to touch on them?
Take it.
I think they're gonna be one of the most rare items because XT hard mode is, in my opinion, the hardest boss in Ulduar right now. So when you finally get to a stage where you can start getting these, like, everyone wants them because they're just that good.
And no, he said that everybody wants them. I'm looking at my caster BiS right now. Every single caster wants them. Fire Mage, Arcane Mage. Destro lock. Every single one. Shadow Priest. Boomy. Everybody wants these. These are going to be very contested. Whoa, take note. What would you use if you can't get them? Or while you're waiting?
Well, like you said earlier, the cuffs from OS2 Drake are still amazing. If, however, you need the hit, the braces from Kolagharn, 25-man, are really good as well.
Bracers of Unleashed Magic. What a cool set of bracers names, in my opinion. 38 haste. 38 hit. Beautiful hit slot. Well said, my friend.
They have a really good stats, yeah.
Well said, my dear friend. I would ask my friends today to chime in, but it's the most boring slot. So it sucks that the most boring slot is the most contested as well. Yeah. Go ahead.
There's like 4 like random 232 bracers for some reason, and then it's like grasp of reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason it should be the only 252.
Oh, I can't grasp the reasoning. All right. A more interesting slot, my dear friend Nemo, if you want to touch on them, is the gloves. What's up?
You're basically gunning for anything off of Algalon, Pharaoh's gloves, and Pulsar gloves. Pulsar are probably a little bit easier to get because it's from 10-man and not as many classes use it. But if you can't kill Algalon for any reason, tier gloves are probably your best bet for 4-set. That's going to be one of your highest simming ones, but also don't sleep on hand wraps of Plentiful Recovery. They are a very nice option to swap in, especially when you are like beginning to gear up and break your T7 4-set.
Shout out hand wraps of the Vigilant with the 2 sockets, same spell power, but 2 sockets.
Yeah, that one's forget. Unless nobody wants it, it's just kind of a sad piece. No haste, no hit stats.
It has 2 sockets.
Oh, yeah, it's still very strong. It's definitely
it has the same thing as Plentiful Recovery, except for you're swapping 59. Oh no, the same thing as Recovery, except for you're swapping 59 haste for a crit and then adding 2 sockets.
Yeah, it's just a sad organization.
But also
sounds like a Demo piece. Pretty sad.
Yeah, exactly. 25-man Vezax versus 25-man normal Kolagharn. So Nemo's onto something here, boys. Catch on. But yeah, tier 8 gloves too, or whatever, if you can get them. Tier 8, you can buy tier 8 gloves too if you have do you know how much those are?
No, you can't buy them. You just have to be really lucky in VOA.
That was just tier phase 1. You can buy.
You could buy chest and helm from your conch badges.
So I'm just high. You can never buy gloves.
You could buy similar gloves to Plentiful Recovery from the badge vendor. I think.
Okay.
I don't know if they're on here.
Right here.
Oh yeah, that's it. They're pretty close to it, so it's just like another option to wear. It's nothing too big though.
Cool. Sounds good. Beautiful. I forgot about the badge gear. I guess we should. Fuck it. There's enough gear. We don't need to add badge gear to it. Another thing to mention about Pulsars is it's a 10-man versus a 25-man Algalon either way, but Pulsars has your hit. So if you need hit and you have an option, if you have the option and you need hit, you're gonna want Pulsar gloves, which are actually I like them a lot.
Beautiful.
Gun for Pharaohs. Oh yeah, like you said, beautiful gems. You're running double reds in both of these as is anyway. Running double reds on a blue yellow versus running double reds on a double red. It's a good point.
Also, a few things to note is you want to be looking at items as well that last deep into TOC. Like Grasp of Reason, you're not going to replace until a new Heroic in TOGC as well. And then Pharaoh's Gloves, I believe, will last very, very deep into TOC too, until you get your entire 4-set, which will take a while.
There you have it. Aim for Pharaoh's Gloves, wear Pulsars, touch, Plentiful, Vigilance, anything in the meantime. What about the belt? You know what? I like the belt. 25-man Algalon drops Star Watcher's Binding, a juicy 73 spirit double yellow socketed with 7 spell power bonus, 105 on the goddamn belt, and 54 crit rating. These are huge. You guys want to talk about them at all?
Yeah, this belt's great, but I say don't grief your raid unless you're a Demo lock and just use Sash of Ancient Power until middle of the tier at least.
My man, yep. The beautiful hit option for the belt is a bind on equip tailoring belt. Well, there's 2 of them. Obviously, this is just the crit one. This is the hit one. And they'll both probably be expensive, with this one being much more expensive, I assume, because I think a lot of people are going to want this because, just like Nemo said, this will be highly contested. Everybody's going to want this, and this is not even that far behind it. If you need the hit, this is like the minute difference. If you can use that 46 hit.
Sure. It's an amazing belt.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it. I think Destro liked this, the cord. When I sampled it, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it did. but I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth at the same time. I kind of do.
It looks Destro-y.
I kind of do want to put my foot in my mouth and say this is it for Destro as one of the 2 changes. But I could be thinking of my Shadow Priest. I don't know. Anyway, on the belts, yeah, you get it. Star Watchers is the goal. But nobody should have a problem with this belt if you have a little bit of gold. I can't imagine the belt being, I don't know, it's going to be expensive, but it's not going to be like game breaking. And obviously you can just wear cord. Cord is better than plush, no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
2 sockets, yeah. 2 socket spirits. Yeah, so if you're using plush or if you're using leash, make sure to just go pick up a cord. Cord will be cheaper. Maybe cord into Sash, into Star Watchers, whatever you need for your...
If you never got a leash, the Embrace is a decent belt off of Flame Leviathan normal. It's just like free Embrace of the Leviathan.
Oh yeah, from the literally the easiest boss in there. Nice.
Yeah, the easiest boss. You can like solo Flame Leviathan in a demo, so
good call.
there you go. Go farm yourself.
Any new conquest belts? One here, Sassive Incantations.
Sad itemization, so,
yeah. Onto a juicy slot, the pants, Nemo.
Tier pants. These are your strongest tier piece. Sadly, the itemization for T8 is kind of piss poor for every single slot except for like shoulders, chest, and legs. So these are just the strongest one. You want to build your 2 set around this. You can actually equip this once you get enough hit pieces to replace wontons, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have for pants.
TakeNote, anything about you want to touch on some pantalones?
I mean, I've seen, like, if we're talking full BiS setups, I've seen builds with the Freya 25-man hard mode legs being within 10 DPS of full BiS, so you can definitely still build a very good set with these pants.
These pants have an extra socket, so they're pretty fat. They're like really nice. Yeah. These pants are better than tier 8 pants. We're only using tier 8 pants because we need the 4 set. We want that 20 cap on that UA. It's pretty big.
What other classes use this as their full BiS? I think H-Pals like Enslaved Idol, unironically.
S-Priests love them. Boomies like it too.
S-Priests use 4+5.
A lot of people use it, and like they're like us, like we can use it if we want to, and not like actual. This is our BiS.
Both mages use it. That's it. And,
yeah, I think I would let them have it first, but it's definitely a piece that I would still want to pick up.
I almost feel like you might be able to get it because it is just mages that need it, and I don't know how many people run in mages. You might. I mean, I don't know about before. What do you think is to be more contested though? Because a lot of people are going to want legs, tier 8 legs, right?
Yeah, everybody does. I wouldn't sleep on the Boomkin. Boomkins are pretty strong in Ulduar.
Oh yeah, they are. That's true. I'd give it to a Boomkin first.
I think since like we don't really need any other tier piece besides chest, which you could buy in the legs, you could kind of fight for. But I want to shout out Overload leg wraps because there's some people like me who never got Wonton, and those Overload leg wraps are just a linear like 6 eye level upgrade over Wonton.
There you go. I like it.
And they're easy to get.
Yeah, they're very easy to get.
Freya 25-man's going to be the guild breaker, dog. We got Leggings of Profound Darkness as well. 10-man Vezax hard mode, double socked up. 10 more spell power with double sockets. Okay. Boots. Boots of Fiery Resolution are the best in slot boots with 73 spirit, 2 sockets, 116 spell power, and 63 haste. I think the only thing that comes remotely close to that is Treads of False Oracle. Third to Starlight Threads, which are both... Well, Yogg-Saron 25-man hard mode is not going to be the most easily obtained boots to get in the world. But you can definitely get Starlight for easy. 10-man Alg. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I'll be rocking Spellslinger slippers until I could snag the Flame Leviathan boots. I won't really take Treads of the False Oracle until all of our H-Pals, Resto Shamans, and Mages have it if we get like terrible Flame Leviathan boot luck.
There you go. Tailoring and BOE boots, Spellslinger slippers. I didn't see these. 44 spirit, 2 sockets, 86 spell power. Until you get the better ones that are 20 more spell power, I think. Yeah, 30.
It's my plan too.
Starlight's not that.
Spellslinger.
Spellslinger and the Starlight. Nobody else wants Starlight. Spellslinger. Well, the thing about Starlight is it's on everybody's realistic. All the casters realistic BiS because it's 10-man Algalon. Wow.
Boots of the Servant are decent too on like a realistic BiS set because it's just from normal Freya.
Down a socket, yeah, it's not bad. How is it compared to? Oh yeah, I mean, tailoring was a double socket. I think you just get those. Yeah, he's right. You wouldn't even do nothing else. You get tailoring into maybe Starlight. No need to really. Yeah. I
wouldn't even upgrade from Spellslingers to Starlight. I think it's
good call. Spellslingers into boots.
Like, it's just not worth it, I think, to drop the haste for crit unless you're Demo or Destro.
I wouldn't do it for Demo either. I'd do it for Destro maybe. I would. No, I don't even know if I'd do it for Destro. Haste. I still like haste as Destro. It's not like an abundance of it, you know. Take note.
Yes, sir.
Can you touch on the beautiful rings? We have quite a few options. I know you know about them. So what's up?
I mean, we want that conductor steel. It is incredibly well statted for an Affliction Warlock.
What about that second ring? What do you think? Maybe like a Ring of the Vacant Eye or something?
I mean, if you need that hit, for sure. But I think the Flame Leviathan 10-man hard mode is an incredible ring. The Hodir 25 normal is a really good ring and very easy to get. So you have good options for sure. And the Pyre Circle from Ignis 25-man normal. Like, you have a lot of options for rings until you can get like the full BiS for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I like Nebula Band and Conductive Seal. I like Shimmering Seal because it's a 10-man. It's going to be really easy to get, I think, and it's a good hit option. And then, like you said, a Frozen Loop. If you have, this is where I think as a caster, I guess, in general, but if this is where the hit, I don't care too much about the hit because, like, if you get a good piece of gear that you normally would have something with hit on it, and you're like, oh, I don't have enough hit, you have rings that are barely less for to have a lot of hit on it that can make up to hold you over until it two amazingly easy to get and amazing rings to hold you over that you need to hit on until you get good ones. Sure. And like you said, there's still Pyrelight. I've actually never looked at this. The Kirin rings, I just kind of checked them out, you know.
One thing to note for these rings, realistically, a lot of Warlocks could be using Conductive Seal and Nebula Band all the way into ICC because the rings from TOC are just not very strong. And I think Nebula Band might sim higher than the Badge Ring. So your only other option would be the Spirit Crit Ring off of the last boss in Heroic, but that's going to be super contested and not very well itemized for Affliction. So I might be rocking these two.
For sure.
Conductive Seal is just BiS until ICC regardless, though.
Yeah, that ring's insane. There's like I know a lot of locks are using Signet as like a hub of their hit right now because they don't have Wonton. Frozen Loop is like an item for item or a line by line upgrade over Signet of the Malevolence. So definitely gun for that if you're still using Signet.
Good call. Direct upgrade, big one too. Jesus, so
it's
big,
massive. Yeah,
so big.
Yeah, Inscribed Signet of the Kirin Tor also sims higher than Signet of Manifested Pain from KT. So if you had really bad Signet luck or there was like too much competition and you have some gold lying around, I'd definitely yoink that. It should cost around like 8k.
If you're serious about progression at all, I think you make sure you upgrade your Signet of the Kirin Tor immediately and just rock that on release day or week 1.
There you go. Good call. All right, nothing else. Go to Trinkets.
Oof.
Spicy. We got obviously we got Flare of the Heavens and Scale of the Fates. Before we even talk about either or, we're gonna talk about Flare. Let's talk about Flare first. Is there anything to say besides we love it? I mean,
it's definitely a flex to Warlock Prior, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely think the first one you throw to your Demo Lock, and that's that. You guys fight for it. I don't know if there was numbers done on who benefits the most out of a Flare. But I know I'm pretty sure every caster wants it blindly without looking at anybody's list right now. And yeah,
Priest Prio.
You won it. There's nothing much to say about it. It's 135 crit. Same thing. It's a proc for 959 spell power. It's a big ass trinket.
You'll be using this for a very long time as Affliction as well. Like the TOC trinkets aren't very good, and then it's gonna be like what until you get DFO maybe from ICC.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
So this is like a big item that you want to prioritize getting.
Big crazy. And then Scale of the Fates, increase your spell power. A static equip, increase your spell power by 132, which is very nice. It's better than like this crit one. I like that you can have some spell power, static spell power. And then on use, it increases your haste by 457 for 20 seconds on a 2-minute cooldown. What do you guys think about Scale? What's your thoughts on Scale?
It's really good. 20 seconds is a long time for 450 haste. If you get 2 uses out of this, it's so worth it.
Okay.
And you can milk some extra use and drain Soul Phase by recasting a drain, like when there's 1 second left on it, which is very nice as well.
Value, yeah, because that drain will snap that whole thing.
And also, unused trinkets aren't as bad as they were perceived before because you could actually use hyper speeds with them now, which was a nice change that they did for Wrath Classic.
Yep.
True.
And then in terms of, before even mentioning the other trinkets, in terms of, I think, DPS gains, I think Affliction was one of the lower ones in the casters to gain value from it. I believe we were at like 120, 130 DPS gain off of it, where other ones were averaging like 200, 220. That's like Shadow Priest, Mage, everyone else. I don't think that matters. I think you get player over class there, boys. People like Nemo just said, you have an Affliction lock doing that. 1 second left, like taking value out of it. We always say player over class. That's including, I know we're shilling out stuff for Demo, but obviously we're being facetious. If your Demo lock doesn't deserve it, don't give it to him. It's player over class.
It also depends what you're progging too. Like if your guild's working on Zero Light, you just want to buff your Affliction locks because it's just a perma drain phase almost.
Good call. Very, very, very good call on that one.
I think we also need to remember when people are talking about sims that the Warlock sim is not always so good at doing execute phases.
That's true.
So it doesn't really snapshot
Just like
properly a lot
Warlocks.
of times. So
Yeah, that's
a little
true.
bit of copium.
I agree with that too. What about some backup trinkets? Because we know these are going to be contested because every caster wants both of these. What are you guys thinking here? Let's talk about some Ulduar trinkets.
Living Flame is cool.
Living Flame is a
Has-
beautiful hit option. It's
Yeah.
like a weird version of Dying Curse. It's less spell power than Dying Curse, but more hit than Dying Curse.
It has so much hit. It like almost covers half your hit.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was anything else. It would be so much better. 113 haste or something, anything.
I want that equip 113 spell power on use 100 whatever 500 spell power. I will say I'm trying to avoid talking about it, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Illustration and Dying Curse are both extremely good trinkets still to use, like very, very, very good trinkets still to use. And I think that a lot of people are still going to be using them for a while, and I think people should not be disheartened by that. I mean, look at Dying Curse. Its Flare is only 200 more spell power. So, I mean, that's a lot of spell power, but at the end of the day, if you think about, it's only 200 spell power versus, Illustration is 200 flat up full time if you're using it properly. There is, NLG made a video about, I don't know if you guys saw it. We talked about it earlier about running Dying Curse over them. What do you guys think about Dying Curse and Illustration first off? Obviously, they're good to go like while you're waiting to get these trinkets, that's without saying, but would you in a world not run scale for any reason?
No.
Strictly for the drain, strictly for the drain phase, right? I would assume.
I think I would try to swap in other hit options as well before swapping out scale for a Dying Curse. Dying Curse is very strong, but the Ulduar trinkets are just too good.
And are you dropping? So is Dying Curse stronger than Illustration? So you would say Illustration first, right? Oh yeah, I guess a good point. If you need to hit, yeah.
Yeah. You don't really have a choice if you need the hit. Like I would assume if you have Flare, you're probably not going to get scale for a little while. So
yeah,
I would assume you have to use the Dying Curse and the Flare.
Very true.
Which is have fun life tapping pre-pull and having them both proc. That sounds like fun.
Oh god. I know as Destro, if you have scale, one thing about Destro, you still use scaled spiss, but you would use it. You got to watch when you proc it. If you're lusted and like using your gloves and this, you're gonna be capped on your chaos bolts. So be careful. You'd still use it though. You'd still use this 100% the whole thing. The only difference was your backup belt. I would use this other one, and I didn't even sim that. I'm just assuming. That's a feels crafty thing.
Also, let mages and boomies have Eye of the Broodmother. I wouldn't touch that as a warlock.
Yeah, agreed with that.
Yep, that is it's a slightly better illustration by what, 6 spell power times. Yeah, you get it. Well, it's not even. It's less.
It's less spell power and gives you some crits.
5 times. Yeah, it stacks to 5 times. It's garbage. You don't want this. Right? I'd rather take. I'm high right now. Yeah, wouldn't you take an illustration over that?
Yeah, I wouldn't use that as
10
a lot,
times
but
versus, that's weird.
Fire mages and boobies love that trinket for the static crit.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, they want flare and scale in the ideal world, but if it drops to the 10-man, I wouldn't I wouldn't bother. I would give it to them.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna see illustration, dying curse until you get these. Star Shard Edge BiS weapon. You guys thoughts? You guys want to talk about weapons? I think there's 3 things to talk about: Star Shard, Fusion Blade, and Staff of Endless Winters. Because there's 14 weapons in Ulduar, ranging from absolutely amazing to utter garbage. So we're only going to talk about the 3, which is Star Shard's Edge is your best in slot. It's contested. Everybody wants it. Good luck with it. It comes from 25 mana Algalon. Have fun. 10-man version of what I think the main hand second BiS would be Fusion Blade, Gang Fusion, Mimiron hard mode, Firefighter, 10-man, much easier to get. And then, of course, Staff of Endless Winter, Hardmode Hodir, we said it earlier, would be a very good placeholder. You guys want to touch on weapons?
Star Shard also drops off of Mimiron. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh.
It's also a double
Okay,
drop
this is
because
wrong.
it's both Algalon and Mimiron can drop
Okay,
it.
Yeah.
cool. I did not know that.
So it's a little bit easier to get than some of the other hardmode items. Like, say, Conductive Seal can only drop off Mimiron, whereas Star Shard drops off 2 bosses.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
And Crown drops off Mimiron. Mimiron's a big
You're
lock fight.
slacking 80s upgrades here, bud. What is this? You're making me look like an idiot.
I know you said we're only touching on 3 weapons,
Go
but
ahead.
don't sleep on Ice Core Staff as well.
Of course.
Ice Core Staff is stupid good.
All right, we got the double socked up, 96 spirit, 106 haste, 106 haste. It's just a hasted version of this. Oh no, less spell power, yeah.
It's
That's
245 though. It's really good.
Also 10-man. 10-man, boys. Easy to get. Still, you got some weapons. Look, this is going to be highly contested. Like these gentlemen, these beautiful fucking men said, this drops twice. You have the opportunity to get this twice a week. Keep your fingers crossed and pray to the RNG
I'm pretty
gods.
sure it's every item, like every weapon from Algalon except the shield drops from another boss.
Damn.
Yeah,
the
I think
dagger
that's
does
right.
too, right? Like Thing of Oblivion drops off of like Iron
Yeah, and
Council
like
too.
the spell power mace, the staff, like they all do have dropped from another hard mode.
All right, boys. Offhands. We got Cosmos, BiS, 95 spell power, 46 crit, 58 haste. I mean, 58
There's
hit.
only-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's only like 3 worthy of conversation.
So
It's like Iron Mender, the Manual, and Cosmos.
there you go. As I say, if that's not, if you can't get Cosmos because everybody wants it literally, and it's from 25 mana Algae, you got a good old Leviathan for the hit, and you got a good old Iron Mender for if you don't need hit. Both of them much easier to get. 25. The hit version comes from 25 man Flame Leviathan, and the non-hit version comes from Kolagarn. So, I mean, you know what I mean. You're gonna have those are contested in itself of just how easy they are gonna get.
Is that Igniter Rod good? I don't think I've looked at that before.
The Igniter Rod isn't horrible. It's just like horrible.
As
Right.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's not
It's probably the reason
horrible,
I've
it's
never
just
seen
horrible.
it before.
Well, you don't want to touch that because most of your disc priests will be going for it, since like you're not going to give your disc priest a Cosmos, over any caster DPS, because I think it's technically BiS for disc.
There you go.
That's just-
But yeah, so they'll be gunning for Igniter Rod to not grief the raid, because it's only crit offhand that they can really grab.
Well, the last is the most important slot of all, the wand. And
There's just no discussion
there's
here.
literally
It's just,
3 that drop, I think, that are even worth it, and they're right here, and it's only one that you want. But at the same time, everybody wants this too, so.
yeah, like Scepter of Lost Souls from Vezax is really strong, and it's crit haste, but Petrified Ivy Sprig it's just BiS till ICC, so
Yep.
you just want that.
Comes with that
I think
socket,
healers
baby.
use that. Healers use that one too. The Disc Priest, the Petrified Ivy Sprig.
Yeah, literally,
Not
yeah,
on my watch.
I think everybody uses yeah. You want to get Petri Ivies, not going to be hard to get. Just everybody's going to want it at the same time. I would just use Scepter if you don't have it. That's all you can really do. If you need hit and you want it in your offhand, your wand slot, you can get Quartz.
Would you guys use Quartz Crystal Wand over Gemmed Wand? Yeah, you read my mind. Over Gemmed Wand and the Nerubians?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Even though it's kind of
Spirit.
gross going from like hit haste itemization to a spirit hit, but it's just like the item level is too good. You can't ignore
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
Well, yeah, I would. I would just because you get Spirit, right? I would still use it.
Raw spell power better.
You get a little bit of spell power. You get what 11 spell power and some Spirit, and get rid of haste. That's easy. That's all for 22 haste, bro. It's easy. Easy trade. Fuck that haste. All right. To briefly touch on Demo, because not everything changed. Obviously, not that you almost see nothing change. The only thing that you see change, which is a subjective change. I say that because you have the whole support versus personal DPS like Demo locks, and obviously we know that I'm more of a shill, which is right away why you see reds and everything, because I'm a support. That's what I'm there for. I just put reds and everything. That is a me personal thing. I know a lot of people don't do that. If you're not on that side, then just fill it out properly if you want. Right? Obviously, don't do blue and yellows. Don't ever do blue and yellow sockets like that. But obviously, in this example, like on our Affliction side, I socketed that correctly because I wanted that. The socket bonus made sense. As a Demo lock, I choose not to do that. You can choose to do that if you want. If not, it's a simple, you're not wrong or right. Just fucking make your sockets make sense. Like he said earlier, Nemo mentioned earlier, you have a fishing gym that you guys can get now. It's going to be a beat. Did we mention this earlier? Yeah, okay, so there's fishing gyms. There's one for, I don't know, was there 6? There's one for like every like main stat, like spirit, agi, and stuff. The only one that's worth mentioning is spell power. I thought I was going to use the spirit one, but Nemo checked me on that, so don't even use that one. Just use one spell power one. Get it from
the hit one is good too.
Oh yeah, hit if you need hit. Yeah, that's a good point. Which we didn't touch on hit on the last one, but especially as Affliction, more so than Demo, you don't have trouble with hit, especially with that suppression in your tree. It's like I know, and you saw how many hit pieces we mentioned, but at the end of the day, if you can't, I think that BiS list that I was on had 1 point in suppression. So if something happens and you're not getting anything, you have another free couple points. It's like, the whole world. Go ahead, Nemo. Pummel.
Will you be able to start seeing these on the auction house when the patch drops on Tuesday?
I think so.
Yeah, I think people will fish them. You guys think they're gonna be pretty rarer than what people are expecting?
It'll be expensive.
Can we get any price predictions?
I'd say 10 to 20k is probably going to be a good spot.
What?
I would not get that gem unless you literally get a BiS piece. You know you will never replace the gem, and then you put it in.
Crown's a good piece for that.
Bro, 1?
Yeah, crown, for example.
I will buy this on day 1 for 10 to 20k.
I thought you were going to say a couple K.
I will put it in like, I don't know, whatever item I think from T7 is going to... I'm going to put it in my bracers, Unsullied Cuffs. And then,
big, bro. That's big. Because you're never gonna get the other ones.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to be, 4 more spell power for progression.
Hey, the long koi is you never ask for reasons when they drop. Nah, I'm good, and nobody will know why the whole time.
I would buy one for Prague for sure, just to put in the Unsullied. That's probably the
20k. You would?
Piece you'll have. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, sure. I would.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't. And I'm sweaty as fuck. I'm not paying 20k for.
Look, I'm the Demo. I bet my mages would appreciate that.
The mages, tell them to give you some gold, Doug, and to pay for that fucking gym. All right.
I mean, I run GDKPs, so there's no real excuse to be cheap for me. It's like anything week 1, I'm gonna buy it.
That's crazy. Obviously I'm JC. That's why you see my JC. If you're not JC, don't put JC gems in. Easy enough.
They're probably just gonna get more expensive as people actually start to get like Ulduar loot and have to put it in. It'll just drive the price up a little bit.
Probably.
So buying it faster when the price isn't kind of solidified, I think that's definitely.
I feel like the play might be like they drop, wait like a day or some shit, and then it'd be like the initial. Oh my god, it's the first few. It's gonna cost $1 million, and then it'll go down like a couple K or whatever, and then it'll chill, and then like Pummel said, it's gonna go back up. I think.
It happened with Sunmotes and Sunwell, where the first week they couldn't like find their price yet, so they were like 1,100, 1,200 gold, maybe 900, and then a week or two later they were up to like 2K, and then it took like another 2 or 3 weeks for them to drop back to where they were at the start because people didn't know how much they were worth.
That's fucking hilarious. All right, really quickly, just to touch on this, like I said, support versus personal, that's on you guys. I'm a support chill, so I'm doing it. The only thing that I've mentioned change, which we talked about in the Affliction side, is like Sapphire. The only things that you're going to see swapped here, someone cut me off if you want to chime in, otherwise I'm just going to speed through this. The only thing that you're going to feel difference here is I swap some haste stuff for spirit stuff. Simple. That's just if you're a peer, I'm going to my raid as a Demo lock. I am not here for demonic pack. They're not even looking at me for demonic pack. Like when me and Pummel are in the same raid or something like that, then you can run a full year BiS would technically be like an Affliction Warlock's BiS if you want to go that way. But I'm not doing that. I like to have a nice, and you can have your own balance of it. Find your own balance of it yourself. That being said, I run this because it has more spirit on it. More spirit spell power, I like it. And then What was the other difference? That's it, huh? Oh, Iron Mender, because this is just a spirit offhand. Cosmos is going to be super contested anyway. If you still end up needing hit, you can use Leviathan or Cosmos if you really want it. Everybody in the world is going to want this, and technically this is better because it does have spirit, and you are there for Demonic Pact. This is the first item because it's so minor, the Demonic Pact difference. This is the first item that I would say that it's like, that's where it's like, hey, are you support or what? Do you want to shield the support or not? I would just nip that in the ass. Hey guys, I'm going to shield the support. Take Iron Mender. Patiently wait for Cosmos if you want. This is the first thing that I have on here different from everybody else's, and now it's just for a hit option. This is whatever one you want. Pharaoh's is better because which one's the spell power one? Oh, I'm using it because it has a spell power on it, and because everybody's going to want Pharaohs. Every single person in the world is going to want Pharaohs, besides the people who watch this that now know that this is contested, and now they're going to go for Pulsars. But I like Pulsars. It has the double red is nice, and then has some more spell power. But
for raw spell power, it's better. Like you look at the comparison right there, it's kind of interesting.
So it's just the double stock is really nice too, gives you a little bit of hit. Oh, as for the 2-set, 4-set, the 4-set we talked about earlier is ass. I thought it was gonna be all right because you're double dipping, but it's not. And the 2-set, I'm still running 2-set because I like it. Immolate does you already know Immolate does very good damage, so Immolete's nice. And also the chest, they're huge. The chest and the legs combined both are nice. The chest, we already talked about it on the Affliction side. It's the same for Demo. It's just as big. You can run, like if you wanted to, this is more of a balanced one, but it is better to run these legs. So if you can somehow get Leggings of Enslaved on your Demo lock as a support chill, hey, more power to you. That's good to you. But it's very minor on Demonic Pact gains, and also very, very contested. Both those pants will be, but I think you'll have better luck getting these pants than you will Enslaved.
If you can make the hit work with the Enslaved and then like swap out Shimmering Seal for some other ring, you would swap your shoulders to the tier shoulders for the 2-piece still. That's what I would do. Also
with this build, I'm running no suppression. So you could easily just whine out of intensity and run your suppression and get your points too, if you need to hit. That's my favorite thing about this build, right? Everything with both of these builds is the Affliction one only had 1 point in suppression. My Demo has 0 points in it, and you got room as Demo. You don't give a fuck. This is cool, but this is, you know what I mean? It's a whatever. This is a bonus, and you could run them everywhere too. This side note, first off, is I don't even run the intensity. I've been running double and improve corruption. I don't know why that was over there in the first place, right? And then on top of that, people are actually right now on sims. This is the highest sim. Side note for any Demo locks, it's this one. I couldn't believe it until they showed me it. Gang Warlock Discord. Yeah. So, but that's up to you though. You have suppression, you have corruption, you have intensity. I like intensity kind of. I kind of go back and forth, but you know.
You could also take out of Nemesis too, depending on fight lengths, because sometimes it just doesn't matter, and then you'll have your second meta regardless. Like you won't get like a third use out of it potentially.
Especially because that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is meta resets all the time now too. So if you guys wipe, you get meta back. If you guys kill the boss, you get meta back. Also, the only reason I don't do it is because some fights, that's a very good point, where it's like I get good value out of 1 or 2 points, but there's some fights where I want 3 just randomly. So just until I'm not going to be here to further investigate what use is on this, but that's like he said, run some 3/3s and see like, oh, I could have really got some value out of a 1, put the points somewhere and kind of mount it around.
2-3 will cover you on almost all the fights, unless you have fights where you can get a third one like Algalon. That's about it.
Yep. Which leaves you, so you have 2 to 3 points that you can put anywhere else. Suppression if you need suppression, which is what this conversation boiled down to. Corruption for some damage, IDT for some damage, intensity for safety. You can fucking Molt Core for some, less damage on Algalon. It's very small, but if you can do whatever you want with your points, I don't care. As long as you have everything besides these 3 points, I don't give a shit what you do with the rest of them. That's up to you. Build your car however you want to build it. What else do we have different here? Rings.
Shimmering Seal, yeah.
Just a fat spirit spell power ring. Obviously makes sense why we're using it. You shouldn't have trouble getting this. Is a Demo lock, considering it 1, you're a Demo lock, and 2, it's a Tin Man. Flame Leviathan. You can pug this if you really needed to. Frozen Loop, obviously a good hit ring, and in Nebula Band, this is a personal DPS side of things. Affliction, Destro, all that. So you will be fighting every caster in the world for this. Whereas this is, everybody wants this because it's going to be a very, very strong upgrade, even though it's not BiS for everybody else. Whereas it's BiS for you. So you should have no problem getting this. Pummel, you want to chime in anywhere on rings?
No, you got it. Those are the rings I would use.
I think it's Signet, soft laminate is second BiS, by the way. If I recall correctly. Let me see. Yeah.
If you don't need the head, it's decent.
So if you don't have these yet, the first placement is Yogg 10 hard mode, which you can be hard or not based on you guys. It's a good little place one too. And last is the Trinkets, which is Flare, obviously. And then I'm using, I would use Dying Curse as the second one. I know some people are talking about Illustration, which it didn't make sense to me in phase 1. So I don't know why you all of a sudden you would start wanting to use that in phase 2. Call it Fieldcraft if you want, but I'm using Dying Curse. I know that you have Living Flame if you need some hit, like we said last time. I would still prefer to use Dying Curse. First off, just to just squash this Living Flame versus Dying Curse, you're a Demo Lock. If you're there for Demonic Pact, I would say even if you're missing whatever this hit is between like 30 hit between Curse and Flame, don't worry about it. Just keep that 200 spell power. You're there for Demonic Pact. No one's going to care if you miss every now and then. It's not going to be the make or break for your Demo Lock. Now, if you're on the personal side of things, that's be hit cap. That's up to you, right? Yeah. I would
the on use and the Illustration have kind of, I guess, cleaner Demonic Pacts because sometimes things don't proc together. But I also wanted to mention that if you're building for personal DPS and you don't care about your pact, for some reason, Scale is your best trinket with Flare, just like Affliction.
Oh yeah, not for some reason. Imagine that. I want you to imagine. Yeah. I want you to imagine execute phase with your gloves and this trinket up, not haste, not GCD capped, wailing Soulfires out. I'm jealous already, bro. Imagine getting a PI. Oh man. I think this phase is going to be less speedrunning and more parsy. I don't know if that's I'm just field crafting here because it just feels like there's not a lot of stuff to speedrun, but you know, I figure you speedrunners will figure something out. But I feel like people should look at parses more. Not the cringy stack, feed one person all these parses, Alando, but you know, just the real like this, you know, guilds, you know what I'm talking about, right? I think we're going to see more of that. And for that reason, I think demos are going to slap. I think you can slap with this too. Everybody can slap with this, but this is huge. I know that as a Demo Lock, I'm never going to get this, but because I'm the support guy. But man, if you're a Demo Lock out there and you get this, bro, early, you're going to be setting some shit up.
Speedruns early on, at least for like the first month or two, are probably just going to be, did you one-shot all the bosses? Check.
Yeah.
All right, you're top 5 world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's going to be parsing. I think I like parsing more than speedrunning. Speedrun's fun, but I like the parsing more. Obviously, we haven't been able to do it for a while, but like the shit that Alana does and the shit like my old Mutiny Guild. Like I love that. That's a lot of fun to me. So this is the phase. This is the phase for that, bro. You know.
Weird in Ulduar. There's a lot of weird bosses to parse on. Like Vezax doesn't count at all. Yeah. How do you really parse on Yogg-Saron? Freya is kind of weird to parse on, in my opinion. Yeah. Like there's a lot of weird bosses to parse on.
I feel like maybe I don't think maybe I should reword it. When I said parse, I meant like boss parsing. Maybe I like that, like kind of like who's killing the bosses the fastest, not the whole raid. Yeah. We used to do it in Mutiny. I don't know the term for it, but it was a lot of fun. It was just who can kill, you know, the boss the fastest, which it sounds weird in comparison to killing the whole raid the fastest. I don't know, just spitballing some shit. I have no idea what they're gonna do.
Yeah, TakeNote was telling me Noda's going to start wargame weaving to get some speed kills. Is that true, TakeNote?
No comments.
All right. That's it, boys. That's it. Let's talk really fast on, let's do top 5. Let's go top 5 items. Top 5 items for Affliction. What would you do? I'm going to go, you want me to say mine and you guys talk about it, or does someone want to take it away?
Make TakeNote go first.
Yeah. With his hot take.
First? Because you don't like it? Okay.
No, I just think it's interesting. Be different first.
The item I want the most is the Algalon / Mimiron dagger.
Okay. The dagger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you get that dagger, it means you automatically also get the offhand from Algalon.
Mm-hmm.
Because they go so well together and you start building your set around it. And my number 2 is going to be the braces from XT Hardmode. And that's not purely because of the DPS upgrade of the braces, but more because XT Hardmode, in my opinion, is the hardest hard mode. And it's going to be a while before you start killing it, so there's a limited amount. And after that, I went with Pharaohs from Algalon 25-man, because they're amazing. And then I went Flare, which is kind of later than most people, maybe. But I'm going to say this, and some people are going to hate me, but I feel like the first Flare should be a demo. The second Flare should be your Fire Mage, if he is incredibly good at the game. And then you can start getting it as Affliction. And then my last item is the Conductive Seal from Mimiron Hardmode. because it's an amazing ring. It's gonna last you until RCC.
Okay. What Nemo, what would yours be? I'm gonna write it all down, then we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, very close to this, but different order. So Flare first. As much as I don't want to agree with him, I do agree that it should be Demo getting the first Flare. After that, it's kind of up in the air. You reward player. Second is probably going to be Pharaoh's Gloves, just because of straight contention. Third will be Grasp of Reason. I don't see my guild, at least, or a lot of top guilds giving Grasp of Reason to anyone outside of Affliction Warlocks, so I do think I'll still have like a relatively high prio, even though like what he said is true, it's going to take a while before we kill it. And then number 4 is Conductive Seal, BiS till ICC. It's amazing. And then fifth most important is Star Shard Edge, just because there's such an abundance of weapons that are easy to get. Like you get Fusion Blade. I will probably be rocking an Ice Core Staff for a while too, if I could think one of those, because there's just so many hit options throughout like the entire instance. So you don't really need to build around having like a hit weapon if you could just swap like one item in or something.
Okay. So on me and Pummel will do the Demon one. So on the Affliction one, it looks like you guys have all 5 of the same shit. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing exactly, except for I like your point on, it looks like you guys pretty much just swap Star Shard and Flare. And I see your guys' point in both of them. I feel like I didn't think of the Star Shard. I didn't even know that it can drop twice. So that, I also had Star Shard up there pretty high.
It might just be because I also have PTSD of doing Ulduar on illegal private servers and doing 14 full clears of Mimiron, Hardmode, and Algalon and seeing 1 dagger. So maybe that's why I want it so badly.
It's a low drop rate. It is.
I'm gonna need you to keep your personal feelings out of this right now, okay?
Well, as someone with life and death still, I still have it a little bit lower.
Oh man.
Oh, I mean,
both my warlocks don't have Turning Tide.
I said weapon, flare, glove, shoulders, weapon, pharaoh's crown, shoulders, conductive seals. What I said. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about what I said. I don't care. You guys are demo gods. Don't worry about what I said. All right. What about Pummel? What do you got for some demo stuff, man?
okay, so this is my demo list, but I just want to say I'm gonna be swapping to Affliction soon. Number 1 has to be Flare. It gives the juiciest, fattiest, smelliest demonic pact, and everyone will love you forever if you can line everything up.
I also said flare.
Second, I would do Weapon because it's one of the largest static spell power upgrades, preferably Star Shard Edge. If your guild doesn't want to give you that, then the Winter Staff of Hodir is pretty decent.
Okay, so Star Shards or staff.
I did Conductive Seal next because it is heavily contested and it has longevity, and I really value items that last a long time.
Okay.
And then I did Crown because, again, big, just it's so much larger than the T8 Helm. Then last, I did Grasp because it's solid.
Okay.
I mean, that 5th spot can honestly be any 252 like off piece.
Oh, also a quick shout out to Nebula Band, which would probably be my number 6, because I think that's going to be very, very hard to get, because literally every healer or caster DPS you take to 10-man, and 10-man Algalon is not easy by any means. They're going to want that, so unless you could like bribe them with gold or something, it's going to be a tough thing to grab.
Ooh, a 10-man item in your top 5.
It'd be like 5.5 or 6.
It's still a great item. It's gonna be like that, like the 10-man Mally neck all over again.
I didn't have a 5th.
Let's make one up right now.
Probably grass. I didn't know grass lasted that long, so probably, now that I know that, probably grass. But I was thinking of in terms of like, I was trying to think of in terms of when people say what's the 5 things you should aim for. Well, I'm basing this off of demo support. Like these are the biggest. That's why I did it, right? But at the same time, I was trying to think of like what is highly contested as well. And I don't know what the 5th one would be, but it doesn't matter. Insert any of what you guys.
Wait, demo support using Pharaohs, not the Vezax gloves? Just kidding.
You would use Pulsars instead of Pharaohs, so I can go Pulsars.
Pulsars are insane.
But the thing is, Pulsars isn't going to be that contested. I think it will be because I think it's contested because people are going to want to wear it in terms of like placeholder stuff. But
a lot of classes use tiers, so you're probably right.
Oh, I left it blank because the legs. Legs and chest and legs are like both kind of big, but I think that you should get chest. I think chest and legs combined, like with the 2 set, and I don't know about you guys with the affliction side of things, but I feel like you should. I feel like it would be right. You want the 2 set and you want because they're both contested, so it kind of feels comfortable putting them on a list because they are contested so much. Where usually you wouldn't put tier up there.
Tier legs, hot take.
Well, or chest, but you can buy chest. I don't put chest in there because you can buy it. Legs are legs are what I had. I think I put on there, but it's hard not to do. Now I didn't know grass was like that, so now it's kind of like grasp. You know, crown is big for Demo as well. Very big for Demo.
Yeah.
So like crown or grasp, I don't know. That's the point. Anyway, yeah. I just want to do some top 5 for Destro. Literally the same thing as the afflictions right now. Look, if you play Destro and you're tired of hearing it, I'm sorry, bro. You guys just stat the same pretty much. Virtually the same. Like I would do the same. I can't see any reason why I'd probably go with Nemo's more on it. I think grass goes down a little bit more for Destro, but I don't even think that matters, man. I don't know. Okay, the fun part. We're going to rapid shoot. We're going to go through each boss. I'm going to use take notes footage back here because I'm too lazy to go look for a demo perspective. And I'll just go through. We're going to, obviously, this is not to talk about. I guess I'll briefly talk about what the boss does in the very beginning. And then we just go. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I'm going to like skim through it or whatever. Just think of anything that you can put out from the app point of view. And then me and Pummel will cover the demo point of view on anything. We're not going to worry about XT. This is going to cover only the hard mode bosses. XT right now, 1, it's not in here, and 2, that boss sucks. You guys want to say anything about XT? We don't have footage of it. Do you want to say something about XT though?
I hate XT.
I mean,
fix it.
Outside of don't pre-pot and pull the fucking hard up. What's up?
I mean, the biggest thing you can do as like a Warlock in general on XT is like utilize your portal, put down the portal every time you go out with a bomb, teleport back.
Do we have an XT somewhere?
Portal is king.
I think it's better to keep your portal outside so you could get out right away with Searing Light.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, and most people like do Searing Light right, gravity bombs off to the left, and if you set up your portal over there on the right side, it like mitigates a lot of raid damage.
That's big rune.
It's kind of like you don't want to put your portal down on the Shadow Crash on Vezax. You rather put it down in the back so you could get out right away with the Drain Life.
Oh.
No footage of XT, boys, so well, we don't care. I don't care about XT. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Blow shit up.
Well, someone will kill XT hard mode by ICC release, I'm sure.
Yeah. I feel like we're just not. I'm not gonna worry about Flame Leviathan. I'm not gonna worry about Razor Scale or Ignis because they are not hardmode bosses.
I like that.
You know what I mean? That's not. That's what we care about. Hardmode bosses. Okay. What's the first thing? Okay, so this is Iron Council. You have to fight 3 of these guys. If you're doing hard modes, you have to kill the big guy last. It goes small, medium, large. That order: small, medium, large, small, medium, large. Whatever one that you kill in order it dictates the hard mode. I guess someone can chime in if you care about it. If not, the point is this is hard mode. We're gonna kill the big guy last. The biggest thing about I think to take out this whole fight is 2 things. Well, there's a lot of them, but the main one is there's no point in padding the ads because they heal. Right, so it's just like twins in Sunwell or name the fight that they heal. So there's no point in ads. It doesn't show up on logs. Any damage you do to one of these ads that get healed will not show up on logs. So there's no point in choosing it. There's no point in doing anything. There is a point in both Affliction and Demo keeping up corruptions on all these ads as you're playing the whole fight. 100% of this fight, I have corruptions rolling on all 3 of these mobs. First off, let's start there. Do you guys agree with that? Affliction and Demos.
Only if you get a double ruin spawn and you want to snap it on Steelbreaker, because realistically, the only damage that matters on release day, unless you're going for like a straight boss parse, is damage you do to Steelbreaker in the burn phase, because that's the only dangerous part of the fight. So if you could snap like a double rune spawn, which I think TakeNote does in his video,
Yep.
It's just absolutely insane, and you want to prioritize keeping that up rather than actually your current DPS on either of the small 2, because a lot of the time you're going to be waiting for a new rune and stopping DPS anyways, so it's better to just get that good snapshot, or if you get like a trick snapshot in a rune, you want to try to hold that on Steelbreaker the whole fight.
The rune that he's talking about is this beautiful blue rune that's underneath this guy. One of these guys, I think it's this, I don't know which one it is. I think it's this guy. One of them's called the Rune Master. He puts the rune underneath the boss. The tank moves the boss, or the rune gives you power, obviously, rune of power. Tank moves the boss out of it. You guys all stand in it. You pump. So you would snap a corruption. Obviously, you're snapping as Affliction. Demo, it's not really super important. I snap my dooms in it if that matters. You do snap. You have dooms, right? Because you're demoing. You're dooming. You kind of gotta. I would say as a demo to pay attention to what you're dooming, because you can not notice that this boss is melting faster than you think, and you have a doom on him, and then he dies before the doom goes off. A lot of the thing I would say is to doom. Watch the kill time, your little kill timer. I hope that you have a weak core that tracks the kill timer on the little bosses, and you kind of tell that, okay, this first one who you kill first on hard mode is gonna die. My doom's off cooldown. He's at 50% health. It's gonna die in 48 seconds. I'm gonna put my doom on the second guy. Put your doom on the second guy. So the first guy dies. The doom now has 10 seconds left that you put on 50 seconds ago, right? Doom's gonna blow up on the second guy that you guys are now attacking. Vice versa for the Steelbreaker as well. If you can do that, you do it in the rune, because the rune will snap the doom like we've been telling you this whole time.
I would set up rather on Steelbreaker with my doom than put the doom on the second guy, because then the doom could hopefully have like 10 seconds left when you're about to like go into the burn phase, and that's just
that's all. But that's all useful. Timing though. That's all timing. Yeah, that's all timing. We're in fusion, so we're killing this a lot faster than a lot of the guilds are killing it, and we have the bodies and the time to waste 40,000 days doing this. So the normal person is not going to come in here to one shot, two shot this with no ease going into Steelbreaker, right? The first time we were doing this, I'm able to get a few goddamn dooms off on each of the first time we were doing it,
You can get that is a good point.
He is making a good point. That is a very good point. You need to make sure your doom blows up on the mob that is currently the active target, and it's very important to get it inside of a rune, I would say. And just like he said, you can get it meta off. I typically don't meta. Like right now at the beginning right here, in a demo perspective, we're pulling. I'm running up to the boss, right? I'm corrupting the side ones as I'm running into the main boss. I want to get a little bit corrupt until we're pulling, at least right now. And then I'm planting, and then I'm just blasting. The corruption is just for molten core procs to blow into the main guy, it's for molten core procs to blow into the main guy. Like they said, the phase 3 is the hardest one, but I still want to do as much damage as I can. You might as well. So as a demo lock in the beginning, I corruption, and I'm just spamming into the main guy. I'm not blowing any cooldowns at all. I pre-swap my trinkets, so they're not going to blow right now. They're not, the 45-second, ICD swap thing. And right now I'm waiting for a rune. When the rune comes up, I get to the rune. As I'm moving, one thing, you have to move a lot on this fight, and you guys can talk about Affliction afterwards, but you have to move a lot on this fight. When you're moving, cast something. That's we try to tell you this all the time. Always be casting ABCs. As a demo lock, there's always something you could be casting. I'm always in range. If I need to move, I can put another corruption up on something because it's molten core procs. I can shadow flame if you. I wouldn't shadow flame. It's a bad example, but if you need to do something, you can shadow flame. You can death coil. You can tap, because so many things you can do. Remember, you moving 3 feet, you moving a step, you moving just 1-2 steps over and not doing anything is a bigger deal than you think, when you could have life tapped and got a new 4-piece proc for 10 seconds, And then once I'm in the rune, as you see from this is when I pop my meta. I pop my meta and I just blow into the main guy. This is because you have your meta percent damage on top of the rune percent damage. Common sense to not to blow it off the rip, right? There's no reason. Plus threat too, which you
looks
can.
Looks like Jinx did, probably because their DPS is too high.
Yeah, or wait, did she blew it early?
Yeah, literally on pull.
Yeah, I don't know. That's their fault. You shouldn't do that. That doesn't matter. That was just a mistake on that person's part. Save it for when you're in here. Watch your threat though, because if you hold this here and you right here get ripped and you have a PI or anything like that, and you rip your emo aura, you can rip aggro here early, because remember, these two are just getting off tanked. It's happened before, so just be careful. And okay, Affliction. What do you got for Affliction on that? Are you doing anything up to that rune point?
Not really. Just kind
putting
of
corruptions up for eradications and nightfalls. Are you putting corruptions up?
I put in corruptions as I run in. I see a lot of people nitro booting in, but I don't think that's smart, because it's much better to save it for Rune of Death in phase 2.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I don't know why people boot in. I feel like we don't need to boot in. I feel like we on pool, you move in and you're just casting while you're moving in. You're just putting a corruption up, putting agony up, putting whatever up on the thing until you get to a comfortable spot to UA, UA haunt and all that other stuff.
And I also think it's worth it for Affliction to pre-doom as well, if you could time it really well and it procs, or like if it hits right when you swap to the new target.
Good call. That's a very good call. I didn't think of that, even though I just said it for demo. That's a good fucking call. I never think of dooming when I'm Affliction, because it's just out of my, like, not even on my binds, right? You see TakeNote try to do it right now. This is an example. You'll see it later. He does it perfectly. This is an example of a double rune. In a perfect world, you guys will get everybody gets good at baiting it, and you'll be able to, like, kind of like the sparks on Malagos, where it kind of overlaps like the Olympic signs, and you kind of stand in it and it's double. and we'll talk about
Yeah,
that when
the
he does
issue
it.
is that you need to get carried by the guy who's tanking these
Oops, what
bosses
the
because it will spawn under bosses. So if he stands a little bit too far away from the power rune, you can never get a double.
Right here, there's
Right
a
here.
little
So
double.
right here you see him with the double, right? Pause it. You see double up right now. Take note, Nemo. What are you, this is the dream, right? What's happening right now?
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? Are you shitting your pants? Are you bricked up?
Yeah, you just want to keep it up by any means necessary. Like, if you're moving, maybe just, pause for a second, hit drain life for like the millisecond it takes to refresh, or rank 1 Shadow Bolt just to keep that corruption rolling the whole time. That's kind of what I want to do in this fight.
So at this situation, for anybody who looks from the outside that doesn't know what's going on, there's 3 bosses to kill. The first one's already dead, the short one. All that's left is this guy who puts the runes down, and this big ass dude who just claps your tank out, right? So now you got to kill this guy and kill this guy. In this situation right here, this guy's gonna die fast as shit. He's melting. They're melting him. Look, they're melting him. Doom's not gonna get off. In both these situations, Aff and Demo were in this rune. If it would have came up to an opportunity to do this, at some point, we would have doomed Steelbreaker. And the examples that him and I both gave you were on top of this rune. We are dooming Steelbreaker. Okay. Then we're back to pumping. We're back to normal and corruption. I put a corruption up too, but I'm careful because if you're in a rune, runes are timer based. Remember that. So if you're in a rune and that's the same thing with procs. If you have a dying curse proc or you notice any kind of proc, PI, tricks, anything at all, don't like stop pumping to put corruptions up for procs. That's just wait till your procs out, get your procs out, get your bolts out, get everything out, and then go, okay, here's my, wrong word. Here's my, my resource generating dot, whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Padding.
There you go. Continue on. Ready on.
When you spread out for the death rune, it's a really good opportunity to drop demonic port inside the rune that already exists. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I didn't even mean to pause it there. Take notes. Already had it ready. He doesn't even mean it. Yeah, I would have already. You see a portal here? Yeah, you portal. That's a good call. Thank you, Pummel. Portal. That's because you need to run out. Some guilds will probably even run out for what's the shit on private servers we run out for? Overcharge, over something, overlord, whatever it's overload.
Oh, yeah, the little guy when he's like exploding.
Yeah, we ran out of that on private servers. We don't do that here because we're like, oh, we'll just out heal it. But I think people will run out for that as well, and that's a big deal to portal back in. And I see a lot of people not utilizing ports, and that is very important. It's a lot of DPS. It's a lot. Just if you looked where this portal is and where Take Note is, him running back to here, I know he could probably get some globals out of it, get a tap or something, but like versus boom, portaling and just bolting or doing whatever is like, it's drastic. It's so big here in all these fights.
The portal will probably still be up to, or the rune will probably still be up too, so you get just more damage.
Mm-hmm. That's a bigger deal for Demo, I think, as well, because our immolate and corruption, the stuff that snaps for us as well, just like it does for Affliction, but we don't have anything to refresh it like you guys do. So in this situation, say this rune has 8 seconds left and my immolate has 7 seconds left, I might be able to run this spread out and then port back in and get a fresh immolate and a fresh corruption off on the main guy and then lose the rune. Not a big deal, but it's like that's a good day. It's good extra damage, Continue on. Spread. Okay, let's go to last phase. You're on a portal. I mean, you're on a rune. You're making sure it's snapped. You'll notice if it's not snapped because you'll be on the bottom of the meters.
I dropped my corruption there, brother, because I played bad. I'm not used to high ping, but luckily I'm a lucky bastard. We get a double rune again here.
Mm-hmm. Right there, the double rune, the dream.
All tank skill right there. Thank you, Phil.
Yep, the dream. Double runed up. When you get a double rune, the first thing you need to do is, if you've not been in one yet, snap. I would just snap. Yeah. I would snap a corruption on Steelbreaker and your main target. Don't worry about if you're. Oh, that's both of them. Can you double rune in the first before the first guy dies?
I think sometimes it's possible, but it's not always consistent.
If you get a double rune ever, corruption, your next target. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if for some reason the first target's up and you double rune, I would probably double rune both and keep it up the whole time just in case you don't get another double rune because it's so fat.
If you really want to min-max it, you could hit Steelbreaker with a little rank 1 Shadow Bolt a little before the double rune spawns, so you have the 5% crit added to your snapshot as well.
Go. That's a big deal.
You should have an estimate on when this next rune is coming, so a little rank 1 is insane.
Yeah, because all of us, all of this is private server footage from all of us, and we had weak ores and add-ons, but they're not perfected. They're like, oh shit, Ulduar came out. Here's some shit ass weak ores that hope to help you guys out. So you guys will have like the proper working versions of them all. Yeah, you got the double room up, which is great. You corruption your ads and you keep corruption. The most important thing, like they said, is like right now he's not in double rune. He put a corruption up on this mob. You're not we don't, not for the damage. It's for the damage at some point, but it's for eradication and nightfall. But it's because when this dude does come live, he has a massive double stacked up corruption on him, and he can keep feeding it. Like, and then you just need to make sure that you do not let that like tick off. Say this guy's at full health, and you have to wait a whole boss before you get to Steelbreaker. Do what everything focus target him like he is right here. He has him focus targeted. You see the corruption. Shadow Bolt rank, a focus target, Shadow Bolt rank 1. You can drain and just do a quick drain because it's instant refresh. Just do everything you can to keep that up because that's where all your damage is going to come. And when it comes to parsing his Affliction, I think this fight is going to be heavily on how you guys. It's going to be crazy because of the double rune. Anybody double runing is going to just dust off Affliction parses. But if you can't, Ulduar's the first time you're really going to feel if you're not snapping correctly. You kind of feel it on Thaddeus. You'll feel it on like, whatever the spore boss is. I still can't remember his name. But you'll be like, why am I so much lower than everybody else? You know what I mean? But this is a dungeon full of shit like that. So, a raid. Yeah. Anything else as we keep going? Just go ahead and.
Usually it's like.
That's why you say boots, by the way. That's why you say boots. He booted, rune, he gets the boot out, he gets boot back.
No.
Go ahead, sorry.
Like, usually around here is like, our radio would say stop DPS on the middle guy, wait for a rune. So what I do is I completely switch my single target rotation to Steelbreaker. So as soon as you're in phase 3, like the melees will kill off the middle guy. So as soon as phase 3 hits, you have every debuff active already, ready to pump, basically.
So right now, what he's saying is at some point, right now, you see this guy is who your primary target is, but everybody stop DPS. It's because he's the rune guy. You want to get another rune down so you can carry the rune. Right now, this one's going to go away. If this just goes away, if you just kill him, this goes away, you're probably not going to kill this guy. This is one of the harder hard mode bosses. But like he said, you would wait. So right now, one, it's really hard because you're in execute phase. I just waited the whole fucking time to hit this execute phase. I got a double corruption up on this guy. You're trying to tell me I can't drain him? You can't. So you just start doing everything on here. He'll heal up. But like he said, as soon as this rune goes down, this guy's 500k is going to evaporate. It's just going to disappear. And then this guy's live. And this guy's live with you on a rune, all of your dots up, Shadow Embrace rolling, and you're already getting ready to rip into him. It's a very big damage versus me. Pummel's over here, TakeNote's over here, fully decked him out. I'm not. I'm just over here thumbing my ass. Just like, keeping up corruption, doing whatever. This phase enters, TakeNote skyrockets ahead. And I'm over here like, I'm over here trying to cast a corruption. Everything else, so. Thank you for chiming in. That was a very important thing you said. I like that.
All right, this is actually the play. You get Steelbreaker to 24%, and then you kill Mulligan. And as Mulligan dies, you snap a Drain Soul.
Oh, man.
Right before he heals.
Did you guys see that Londo thing? The Londo clip?
What is it?
25k. Like, oh, man. I'll show it right now.
He did like 17k DPS in Iron Council.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. We'll show it right now, too, after this. Do we have anything else on Steelbreaker on the Iron Council, gentlemen?
Yeah, TakeNote has a good little tip when the boss gets to 25%.
You might have a weak core in the future or something, but like communicating with the tank, knowing when he's gonna die and heal the boss, so you can start a Drain Soul right before he heals up, no matter what.
Oh, that's a good idea too, yeah.
Like here, we didn't communicate it, but I was lucky enough. Like I started my Drain Soul like half a second before our main tank dies, so I can still do the Drain Soul.
Yeah, because Drain Soul would drain. So what he's saying is, say the boss at 25, 24, 26, 25, 24%, and you snap a Drain Soul, and then he gets someone dies, the boss gets healed up. Boss gets healed up, and you're draining. That Drain Soul still full, whatever it snapped at, just fucking 4 times in, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Easy, boys. Okay, real quick, I want to show this Alano thing because it's on topic before we move to the next boss.
Is it a details parse where he's multi-downing the whole time? Or,
it is. I don't know.
No,
I have no idea. It was one of those. Things, you know when the tank goes dies and you can get the big ass buff.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. He got that big ass buff for a long ass time. Dude, it's pretty crazy.
I hate
look
that.
At this. Look at this. I'm not gonna watch the whole fight.
Yeah,
Let's fast forward to the end of it.
There, you don't want to pre-pot wild
right
magic
here.
in Iron Council. FYI.
Are you sure your DBM is unchecked?
He's stacking.
The last.
I unassisted Baron at the end there, and it still did.
Oh wait. Sorry, I have sound. I have Baron in my background for some reason. Oh, okay. Pummel's. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, so he gets an execute phase right now, and he started channeling, and he's big. So what you just said happened, I think. Like he has 25% right here, and then he drained. Oh, he didn't catch it in time. So right now he's big. He's got the buff where I don't. Someone can you explain how this buff works? It's a buff. It's overwhelming power. Tank dies. It's happened to me a couple times, but I don't know how it actually works.
You do super big damage. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets the buff. It makes you huge like this. I don't know what the damage gains are. It makes you big like this, and he's already in
200%.
Yeah,
it's 200%.
God damn, and he's already in execute phase too.
So what's it called? If he targets you at all in the last phase, it just goes up. So as soon as a new tank taunts, it'll go up on you. So I think like a hunter could probably cheese it where they distracting. I don't know if it's distracting shot.
Look how big these. Look how big these drain souls are. Look how big these drain soul ticks are right now. Watch his first tick. Watch his first tick. 45k, 46k drain soul. That's so crazy, bro.
Sadly, it will not work on the Warcraft logs when they're out.
Yeah, that's it.
Would've been
12k.
crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, that is the benefit of whether it works on logs or not. He has the point though. A lot of stuff that you'll see, especially I love Orlando, no disrespect, but especially Orlando, doesn't come up in logs. It'll be like you'll see it a lot as a Warlock. I feel like you'll see it a lot as a Demo Locker too. I saw a lot of that. I'll look at the overall and be like absolutely devouring it, and then go look at the logs and see me like way less because there's a lot of pad stuff that you can do where it's just like, you know, emo aura stuff. But that's the benefit. That's what we're talking about is you saw him take advantage. He was just big. That's the benefit of the snapshotting and the drain soul. That's a buff you can get at the end. It's random. I wouldn't count on getting it though. And then like I said, if you have overwhelming power buff, it doesn't go up on logs. I'm gonna pee real quick before we start this next one, okay? And then we'll go a little faster. We're back.
Good luck.
Oh my god. No.
This man really has to pee.
That's a man in distress.
Never heard someone so excited to go to the bathroom before.
Hodir's a scary one on a race day. Like, the DPS check itself isn't that hard to hit, but it's like if you fuck it up, it's just
it's really easy to fuck up.
Strict.
If someone doesn't know what's going on with the buffs, it's just like, okay, well, no Stormcloud went to the hunters.
Sync debuff fell off.
Did I have to deal with the argument in Fusion of like the melee are important on this fight, and I'm like, are the melee doing like 20k DPS when they get the buffs? I don't know.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, if they like get it, they get it, but it's definitely a simp for range fight, I think.
Yeah. I've seen rogues, like assassination rogues, come out of the woodwork and then pre-nerf Gary. Haha.
Asa rogues are great here, Frosty Ks are good, but it's just like almost every single range DPS is better.
Yep.
I guess I'll wait for Crix to get back before start talking too much about it.
Before you unleash.
Just a few small kind of tricks for people to do on this fight.
What's up, dudes?
Welcome back.
Hello.
Fucking tired. Oh dear. All right, ready? Hodir. There's a lot of shit that goes on here. Let's talk about it. Take it away. Take it away. Take note. Affliction, go. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Besides, the one thing that I know is you can see these ahead of time, which is great. You can curse the elements in ahead of time. You can do everything. You can doom them ahead of time. You can all bomb one doom. You can spread your dooms out. I would suggest putting it all in one so you can nuke that one. And I also suggest seeding. If I had to seed this, I would go, you seed ahead of time because seed can land on the target and the combat won't start until the seed blows up a couple seconds later. So I like to seed this one, and then I seed this one, and then I seed the skull because the skull is going to blow up with the doom, and the doom blows up the seed, and it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's less important, but
That's
take it away.
illegal.
Yeah.
Highly illegal tech.
Yeah, highly illegal.
Seeding them all.
First thing, save your cooldowns. Don't do it. First thing is to move away from these little circles on the ground. Second thing, save all your cooldowns and everything. I trinket swap the last second before it starts to really get value out of to not make sure my I want to have Dying Curse when I'm pumped up, or I guess whatever trinket you're using when you're buffed up. Someone else take it away, Affliction God X. What are you waiting for here? What's going on through your mind right now?
I like to pre-pot Wild Magic because you can still, even though you're doing the seeds and all that, you can still get a Shadow Bolt on the boss in time to roll a corruption on the boss. So pre-potting Wild Magic is still good.
What a storm cloud! Holy
Yeah,
shit!
well, look at this.
Juicy, right?
Oh my. The storm cloud's like
Stage.
perfectly fed to you. You have the fire here and a beam right away. Oh my god,
Yep.
This is a nice pull.
This was a good pull.
What you're seeing happening, gentlemen, if you don't know the fight, is a storm cloud that gives you crit. The beams of light give you haste. He's standing in the haste, and that's what you're saving. When I said earlier, save your stuff, you're just waiting for a little bit. There's a campfire, which you can't really see around anywhere right now, but that's also buffing you as well. So the point is to be by all these buffs, get these buffs, and then you spend all your stuff and you blast. Was there any kind of tech that was your rotation any different as Affliction Lock? I'm looking at your Shadow Bolts cast under a second there for a quick second. Do you is there anything different, like Shadow Priest Mind Flay almost the whole time when they're in their buffs? Something
I feel
like that.
the only thing you do differently is that you Shadow Bolt and execute if you have a Storm Cloud.
This is a crit because Strange Soul doesn't crit. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Nemo? Are you thinking of anything when you're watching this? Is there anything Affliction outside of the normal? We're assuming you guys know how to play the game normally, right? Is just thinking of anything tip wise?
Yeah, towards the end of the fight, like obviously you want to move and not grief your healers with biting cold stacks, but towards the end of the fight in the burn phase, like the last 30-40 seconds, just don't move. Just keep DPSing. They'll be able to keep you alive through like 6, maybe even 7 stacks, but it's just more important that you kill the boss.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm not kidding. Send your seed to this target when the fight starts, and that doom will blow the seed up, and it immediately gets you up there. Let's go.
If you're quick, you could snipe a rank 1 Shadow Bolt as Demo and get a little Soulfire proc off the rip off these flash freezes. Just kind of
always, always choose the last one. If it's your first pull, you don't know what it's going to be, but it's always going to be like this one or like a random one over here. Just have to do first. After you do a couple pulls of you guys wiping, which you guys will, look around and be like, okay, well, for some reason this was the last one. That's the one you snipe. Like at this one, you'll see it here somewhere. Something what you see, these ones are going to die first. Okay, this one I'm just like seed, eating one over there, just kind of hoping, just rank 1, toss it into the air. If so, you get to this full pump right away. Good call, Pummel. Thank you. Affliction, tie out anything you want in the meantime. Demo, keep your dots up, bro. And stand here. Wait for your procs. Stand out of that. Don't move too close to the fire. I can't see the fire. If it's
I hit 117k Soulfire one time.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
right there. This is the fire that you guys this is not even a Warlock related thing. Besides, don't stand too close to this because these little fire things, like someone did, that's going to put out the fire. They fall, they land on the fire, puts out the fire.
Yeah, I don't think it gets put out
there we go.
Right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like a private server thing.
Okay, never mind. Well, disregard that. Fucking stand by the fire then. Stand in beams and blast. Your meta. So with meta, I will say the one thing is like he blew meta right there. That was, I don't know why he did that. I'm not 100% sure what this dude's doing.
I think it's worth it.
No, why would you?
Bloodlust.
Yeah, why would you not do it in here with Emo Aura? Why are they both back there? Emo Aura is fucking huge and it's haste. Like what?
There's more movement.
No, okay. Look, I'm telling you right now, they're incorrect. You should not be doing that. Coming Pummel, bro. We're here. I'm getting my emo. I was getting ready to say that. Then they popped emo. I'm in it. If I'm you, you're there with the melee. You're there for 12 seconds with melee, and then you portal back out. You set a portal up.
It's preferred. It's preferred to do that, but sometimes you can't really get in close. It's like look at all the shit on the ground right now. You know.
The only time,
pump out as much damage as you can. But
the
if
only
you can
times I
snapshot
wouldn't
the
is if
Aura,
you can't. Yeah, like he said, if you can't, like that was just a clusterfuck. Well, one, I would have just held my meta for a couple seconds if I needed to, and I would have made sure I got it. Like you don't need to. I don't know your meta, your emo aura, right? Emo aura is running 12 off of a 30-second meta. You can pop meta, and you have 18 seconds to figure out when you're gonna run in there and do it, right? In that 18-second window, yeah, you have when to do that. Do not emo aura unless obviously like said it's super unsafe. You can't. You're progging and you're trying to be safe. That's 100% okay, but that's big damage, especially because you got all these buffs on you. You know what I mean?
Safety doesn't kill Hardmode Hodir, man.
You need all that damage, especially because you got to remember, especially because look how much damage Demolocks are doing. Look how much damage Emo Aura is doing. Look at all the buffs you have, and this is a 2-minute timer to kill this boss. So if you're ever watching this right now and you guys did not kill the boss and you missed it by a few %, and you saw a Demolock, imagine that right there. That's a good snap. That's an Affliction Warlock. You guys, we didn't mention earlier, you're snapping on those storms. That's crit. You need to re-snap your corruptions.
No.
No, you don't have to.
Nope.
Why?
It's dynamic.
Oh, cool. There you go. Were your corruptions?
You also have to be mindful of the beams. So
wait. Why aren't you re-snapping your corruptions for the crit from the storm?
It's critical strike damage percent. It's not an actual like flat.
It's not crit chance. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I thought you just said no because it's. I was about to flame somebody so hard just now. I was like, wait a minute, no. Okay, carry on.
You also have to be mindful of which beams you go into as well. Like, if there's 2 beams in melee and then one of them's empty and all the melee are in another, like they kind of want to ping pong between those 2 beams. So if you can just, use range beams instead of going into like an empty one in melee and potentially baiting icicles down where melee want to move into that, then you definitely want to go that route.
There you go. That's also kind of the same thing as like having ads in a fight and some other fight and having ads in melee and then ads in the range and people seeing range just like just nuke the melee ads. You're like, yo, let the melee kill them, bro. We can kill these ones in Africa right now,
What are these storm clouds, man? Can I subscribe to whatever add-on you're using that gets them to spawn right next to you? What the hell?
That's a big pull.
CMD after Pummel, okay?
Anything else? Anything else we want here? Flash freezes are handled. Dodge shit. God, I was snapping those storms every time on PTR when I was there. Nice to know. That's why we have these boys. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, Thorim. Oh God.
Gross.
Okay, so before we skip this completely almost, I just want to let anybody who doesn't know, this is a easy boss, even on hard mode. This will be a free boss. We will watch him go through it. It's worth watching. It's not even worth 7 minutes now. You're going to be split into 2 groups, either inside or outside. You're more likely going to be split in the tunnel if you're a warlock. If not, you're just going to be killing ads in the arena. It's a 2-phase fight. First phase is in the tunnel or the arena. Go through here, dodge this guy when he comes down. You can't do anything here. If you're Demo, I blow meta out there at the first trash pack because then it'll be off on cooldown by the time you get there. And I actually think that we are going fast enough where that wasn't off cooldown by the time you get there. So you have to really watch yourself on your meta timing on that. That's on your guild. You can't do anything here. These ads are melting. Dodge the dude's hand. Seed these things. Kill things. Kill things. Kill things. Kill things. There's nothing. These guys die so.
Into melee if you're.
Oh yeah.
Do not get close.
These guys
to
whirlwind or something. Do they sweeping or is it whirlwind?
They do like a cleave, I think. I think for aggro too, since they knock down tanks, you should just single target down the acolyte, and then you should start dotting other stuff.
You got the rune detonation. I was just gonna say that's perfect. He got rune detonation. This is when you get. That's the thing where you get stunned. You can't move, and it blows up everything around you like that right there.
Yeah, it doesn't do shit.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Move away from them. I remember panicking on PTR because like he's gonna one shot. Private servers, I remember this. And it didn't do anything. You can't do anything. Kill. There's nothing here. Don't walk through the middle. It stuns you when you hit these little circles here. Okay, now when you're here, put a portal up somewhere nice and comfortable, and you just there's really nothing.
Can I make a quick note about that?
Please.
When you're jumping down at the top, you could like put Doom on. Like you put Doom right there, or you can like put up the Shadow Bolt buff, and then I put my port down because we're over right where TakeNote landed, where the Fusion Warlocks are, and I put my port there in the first phase, and I just like port down.
Yep. So I would agree with him and piggyback off that. So if we know that we're here, which we are, you can, when you're fighting these mobs, like when you're in the very beginning, you fight these mobs, you have like a 10-second window before your gate opens. Just run over here, put your porter on. Thank you for saying that. Second off, I wouldn't Doom. I would hold Doom until you meta, then I would Doom. But while you're up here, you can put up your corruption. You can put up things while you're up. You can do anything up here while you can. Like you put a corruption, that's kind of all you can do. You can coil, just put some kind of damage out there. But I would probably hold, unless you're killing it under a minute, which I don't think we were.
But I found that I got comfortably a 3rd Doom because of that.
Ooh.
Because of how much health he had. With that like 10 seconds of extra time.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it too. That's a good one, Pummel. I like that. Look at kill times for that then too. Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good example. That's another time to not do it in meta then if you can get another one off. I can't imagine getting 3 off here. This is great. Oh yeah, look, yeah, you're right.
Typically always meta, but this is a long fight. Like he's 20 mil health.
You got 3.
Yeah.
3. This is Noda getting 3 too. Oh, that's a little 3.5. That's going fast.
Yeah,
that's good. Very good call, Pummel. That means that you could probably get 3 off. A lot of people will probably be able to get 3 off because of that. That's a fucking good call. I like that. Oh yeah. Hey, the only mechanic to watch out for. Sorry to cut you off. You see these little beads of lightning.
It doesn't even one shot for a long time. So something to note is like you probably want a macro or you want to have good pet control where you can actually dispel yourself in case your priests are slow or nobody dispels you if you get Frost Over for this.
There you go.
But also like if you do get in the situation where you have to get hit by this, just try to like launch a Death Coil or a Hellstone immediately, because it shouldn't one-shot you, but like a Frostbolt Volley happening around the same time, or a Chain Lightning could.
There, he's a pumper. I always just tell you to move out of the way. So there's me.
I miss the Fell Hunter, man. That self-dispel is
that's
so
nice. I didn't
good.
think about that. That's perfect.
But
you just see these little beams of light and you move out of the way of it, or eat it, like you said. And I'm
I
not
think you
suggesting
could
you
eat
eat it
it.
though. Yeah, look how much
Because,
damage
like-
it did. So it didn't kill him. It did about 80. Did a little less to the healer. I mean the tank. I mean the warrior.
You should move out if you can, if you
Yeah,
see
definitely
it,
move out if you can.
because the,
That's why you have
the tank
portal.
takes a lot of damage with like unbalancing strikes.
that's what Beacon's for.
And you also have your boots here that probably haven't been used yet, because there's no point in booting through the hallways and stuff, because like you're waiting for like ever.
I think if you have a Priest Shield, you can totally eat like the first 2 lightning charges as well, if you want to be like turbo greedy.
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
Turbo greedy.
Because like you'll be fine. Like there's a div stack rolling right here. I'd probably just stay in that and just grief my raid a little bit.
I like it. I dig it. Let's see, anything else here? Nothing you can really do here from either perspective. Dodge that thing. Do damage.
Step forward if you get Blizzard. Don't
Yeah.
like run left and right. Just walk forward a little bit, but not too close, because Chain Lightning will kill you.
Yeah.
I ran in with my meta and Immo Aura one time only. I ran into the melee, and I just got Chain Lightning buzzsawed,
Yeah.
and I just looked dumb on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful with your emo right here. Do it early.
So on PTR, when we were doing this, everyone was creeping forward to avoid blizzards, and what happened is people weren't resetting their positions, and then we had a super clean kill. It was like 12% or 15%, and everyone was alive. But since everyone kept creeping forward, we had a Chain Lightning that killed 17 people at the same time.
Damn.
It did like 200 something K to like one of our Holy Paladins, and then it was just like an instant wipe. It was
Yeah,
kind of
please reset.
hilarious.
Please move back once the Blizzard's gone. Don't greed the one global it takes to take 3 steps back.
This is a fun Thorim, dude.
No problem.
Oh, it's a little spicy right here.
A little spicy here, okay?
Promise we kill it. I promise we kill it.
Yeah, as long as you kill it. You know it's on YouTube, so you know you killed it, right?
You only killed it because the Holy Priest was able to be there.
No, he
That's
said,
cool.
he
The Holy
posted
Priest
this because
carry.
he's the only one alive draining, bro.
Holy
Taco Note
Priest.
saves raid. Get on Taco's back. How's your back feel, bud? Does it hurt?
It feels good. Now I'm about to soul
Did the-
shadow when he comes for me.
There you go.
Did the Hunter Deterrence tank that? That's kind of cool.
Yep.
Gamer.
Gamer,
He's a
bro.
gamer.
Gamer.
Gamer
Who-
hunters will make or break your raids. I
Who's
think.
next? Oh man, oh man, oh man. Freya.
Fun, bro.
First off, Destro, you have a place here. Look, okay. Well, first off, you have a place everywhere in the raid. You're viable. We're just giving you shit. This is where you shine the most. Warlocks out there. If you're whether you're demo or unless you're like the demo, then you don't have a choice. But if you are available to touch another spec one time, this is the time to do it. Go respec Destro, wail on a training dummy for 10 minutes. It's an easy ass rotation, and then be that guy who goes, you know what, dun dun dun, dun. Get your Destro cape on, dog. Dual spec out on prog and save the raid with those Shadow Furies. Not only do you absolutely blast on this fight in general period, but you have Shadow Fury, which helps. The whole bad thing about this fight is, out of the 3 possible options for ads, one of them is detonating lashers that blow up. It's more than just them blowing up. It's more of how you control them. You can blast them back. You can Typhoon them. You can Blast Wave them. But nothing is as good as that Shadow Fury, no matter what these dirty mages tell you. Because we stun them in one spot. They knock them in all these other directions, which can mess up the blow with the detonating part of it. So TLDR, before we go into either spec, if you don't mind playing Destro, or if you thought what's it like one time, I will speak for all of us when I say this is the time just to have fun with it. Help your guild out, and then next week go back to your main spec.
They also forget to reglyph the blast wave afterwards, and you go to Mimiron trash, and there's like knocking shit everywhere.
Now, that being said, as demo, let me start. I love this fight. It's one of my most favorite fights. Demo's hard carry this fight. I think it's the best. I think it's the best spec for this fight out of all the warlocks. I love it. It's ads that die really fast. It's like what that's like speaking. It's yelling at your name, right? You get solid meta uses at any of the ad phases. You get very good. So you have the 3 ads. You have this big dude, right? And then you have the 3 ads they have to kill at the same time. Then you have the detonating ads, right? It's lovely as meta either way. Your meta is whatever one comes open, you rip it off rip just to blow. It helps with this big ad right here because he needs to go dead quick. Plus, you can get these spores. One thing about these ads, which I think all warlocks should worry about, these spores both buff you, right? And they come from the big guy, right?
Yeah.
Big guy comes out. You get silenced unless you're under one of the mushrooms. You fuck this big guy up. After the big guy dies, you see these mushrooms are still there. They're still growing. You can see what I do is when this guy is about to go down, this is him. I look right now. Where's the small mushroom growing? The smallest mushroom that I can find. This is going to be cluttered by melee. Looks like it's probably be out there somewhere. And I'm going to run boot most likely to that mushroom. And then I'm at that mushroom and then I'm spamming into what this is kind of not that helpful because it's seeding and the AoE stuff. But like if in a perfect world, you have the mushroom guy come up and then you have the 3 ads come up and then your demo or your whatever spec you are. And then you are underneath the mushroom spamming into these 3 ads. You're fully dotting them. You can do whatever your heart desires. You can do whatever you want to them to kill these ads. And I love it. So I just want to chime in on that little mushroom ad right there. Anybody want to?
If you're demo, like I used to pop it on the lashers, like my meta, because I like the big flashy MO aura numbers. But after a few attempts, like I realized it was kind of a grief because they're gonna die anyway. And if you need the extra damage, do it so they could explode when you knock them back safely from the raid. But I like doing it on the big tree now because the silence really messes up the raid a lot. And I also want to note for your portal, there's 2 good places. TakeNote mentioned across the river. If when the lashes are exploding, like when they call to knock them back, you can port across the river, or you can basically drop it where Crix is standing right now. Mm-hmm. So you have a safe place where the entire raid is moving. So the lashers are kind of all clumped together and you're safe from death.
Mm-hmm. So right now you see his portal. That's what he's talking about, is portaling. I like what Nemo said over here. I portal here. This is from a Demo's perspective. I portal here because the way I handle the detonating lashers is not what Pummel said. I fucking emo aura, run in, big dick it, and then it's all you gotta do is portal out. That's the thing, is all you gotta do is portal out. But if you don't portal out, you're gonna die. You're 100% dead. I wouldn't do it on prog anyway because you don't want to risk that if you're like racing. But like, yeah, bro, I'm in there with it. But put a portal up, like you said. Thank you for mentioning that because I didn't mention it. I think a portal is always safe almost everywhere. Because remember, this is not only going to save you in the beginning, it's going to save you when it's off cooldown 30 seconds later or whatever later. You see me jumping around because at the beginning of the fight, Freya's by herself. You can obviously swap your trinkets around and make sure you don't accidentally proc your Dying Curse. But in this lovely example, I proc Curse. Off of
you
a
should
bolt.
send it to your pet if that happens so you can get demonic packed up.
Exactly. Off of a bolt of me not even looking at the camera, just AFK looking at chat because we don't do anything in our comms. Don't do anything. This is a prime example of why. And then I stopped doing everything because they probably said in comms, don't do anything, right? This is one of our progs for Freya back in the day. So this is an example why. Now my Dying Curse is off cooldown, which is you might not think a big deal, but it is a big deal because one, I think me and Pummel are both in here, but if we're not, I'm the Demo Lock. So there's my big demonic pack for the raid. Didn't send my pet in on top of that. Now I'm gonna go, okay, now I'm pumping. I meta this. This is what would be a demo perspective. This is the only thing you need to worry about is demo, I think, too. Oh, my meta's on cooldown, so I can't meta this. Bad example. I don't know where my meta was, but he meta.
I meted it there.
Yeah, he meta it. So he meta. In a perfect world, you're still gonna see us do this. I think you're gonna see us both portal out of here. We're seating. He portals out. We're still here. We're in it deep right now. Oh, because they got knocked back and the knockback right there. The Typhoon knockback we have a Destro lock.
Yeah, we have a Destro lock there on the meters. Number 8.
Beautiful. Into the Shadow Fury. It's great. This is like the big. I know that Demo's a lot of fun. I know that Affliction's a lot of fun. I know that everybody trolls about Destro, but it really is way stronger than people think it is. And this is like you can't tell from a little 3-second stun how much this helps your raid out, but it's like drastic how much it helps because they blow up when they die, and that just is the night and day difference. Big guy comes up, pump. Affliction, you're snapping. Wait, what are you doing here as Affliction? Let's the Affliction gods talk about it. Are you doing anything on any of these ads? What about the 3 ads? Obviously, the detonating ads, you can't do anything besides seed. Make sure you're not going to die. Throw a Serenade bomb or something. The big guy, you guys are just everybody's single targeting into him. What about the 3 ads?
3 amigos. Multi-dotting is very good.
Yeah.
You could seed on it too if you want. Like, there's just all good options. I prefer multi-dotting all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, seeding is actually kind of nice, too, when Strength and Iron Roots come out, because they could just pop and almost insta-kill them.
Yeah, these are the 3 ads right here. They do have to die equal. That's okay, because Warlocks are the king of killing things.
You do want to focus your damage on Snaplasher, though. So if you have a choice on one that you, like, fully dot up and keep dots rolling on, it should be Snaplasher, because that has the most HP. You just want to watch out for threat as well. Like, it should be kited by like tank, DK, hunter, something. But there's a good chance that you'll pull threat on it. So like making sure that you're away from your portal in case it like walks over to you. You have distance on it is pretty big.
I like to, like you said, I like this because you have an option, like you can seed them, like you said. I like to, as Affliction, I triple dotted everything, and then I just then I would go full single a target into the Snap Lasher, like you said. So pretty much exactly how Nemo said it. Do whatever you want, just make sure the Snap Lasher is who you're kind of focusing. So like, you know, your Nightfalls are on there, or I'm, as a Demo Lock, gonna Emo Corruption all of them, and then seed off of a different target. So my seed blows up and hits the Snap Lasher. Or if while I'm seeding, don't be greedy and see that the Snap Lasher's at 50% health and the other two are at 20 and you're still seeding, stop seeding, full single target in the Snap Lasher, you know, so they die evenly.
Also, early on, especially for progression, I think Freya is going to be a fight about like which players can be the least greedy and do like the mechanics correctly. Like these DPS checks are just incredibly easy to hit, so it's just a lot better to like, you know, not stand in the beam, move out if you have the lightning debuff. Don't be like too close to the lashers when you're AoEing. Just don't be greedy. It's essentially.
Once you get the ad phase down, it's dead too. You could have like half the raid there. You guys will kill Freya. You just got to get past the ad phase, which is this part. Which gets easier if you're Destro, right? Just right now, if you're a Destro, you see a couple Shadow Furies, bro. It's the difference. One Shadow Fury down, another Shadow Fury down, and they're dead. It's just like game-breakingly easy. So don't be afraid, bro. This is your time for you Destro locks that want to play it, but you know you're not going to. Now's the time to do it, bro. Or if you just ever wanted to find out. For the last phase of her, it's just her. You just do your nothing. Single target rotation. This is where I feel like it's best to have that portal up to go around both sides. Like right now, we're on Freya. This is the second phase. There's no ads. Whoops. It's just her. Right? Her, blow up, switch sides. Do your single target rotation. That's all. Right? Use a portal. If you are like me and Pummel portal over here, when you get here and you guys have your strats, portal, put a portal, re-portal down. It's instant cast, not really, but pretty fast, right? Portal there, so you can go over here and then you can just portal back. Less moving. That little downtime seems small, but it helps. More damage.
Sure, for sure.
I think we're good with Freya unless you guys want to chime in something else. All three specs are phenomenal on it.
All about staying alive and you will kill her.
Yeah, this boss is fun. Watch out for gifts and roots.
It's very easy to get carried away with the detonating ads, especially because it's big AoE, especially as Demo, because that is where you're meadoing. But also, if you guys are noticing that, I noticed at one point that we're not having trouble with the detonating lashers. We're having trouble with the 3 ads or the big dude. That save your meta. Just do that there. Just don't. Okay, well, I'm not gonna. I know it's a DPS loss to be metaing the big guy instead of the detonating lashers because all the AoE, but we're not having troubles with that. You probably won't too. You will at first, but everybody, you got to remember, everybody wants to pump. Not everybody, but if you have a damage meter, you want to see your name up there, right? So everyone's going to want to be on that greedy side of things with the lashers. So don't be that guy. You save your meta for the big guy because you're having troubles with them or whatever, you know?
I think this is our bugged Freya, like from before she did the little seed pods or whatever. So we'd have to not move across the river.
Lucky us. Anything else on Freya? Can you guys think of anything? Destro, you are seeding and shadow fearing. You are single targeting, and on the 3 ads, just keep emulate up all 3 of them and spam into them. It's actually really fun. Destro fight. This whole raid is a lot of fun as Destro. I did a raid. I cleared as Destro, and then it was a mix of Destro and the Demo Destro hybrid, and it was like probably the most fun raid I've had. But out of all 3 specs I've cleared the raid as, Demo was my favorite one. It was more fun than all of them, I think. But it's my first time doing it, so maybe that's why. Okay, make sure that's it. Yeah. Demo, you can get a lot of, big tip here. You can get a lot of decimations here. A lot of decimations that can get up here that I don't see people doing. A lot of times, even my own footage, if I go back there, you can get decimations off the gift ads, off the little ads, off the big guy, off of everything, and you can fuel them into things, which is a big deal. Especially going from like this next phase where there's mushrooms up and there's a big guy, and the next one's going to be the 3 ads. You're under a mushroom, you've got decimations ticking. All right. Mimis.
Oh boy.
Mimis. Where do you even start? Take notes? Somebody? Take it away. I talked the whole last boss. Someone else take this one.
Shit. What do we start?
Go to wherever.
Phase 1 would help, yeah.
Yeah, go to wherever your portal section is, which is this place. I guess, actually, when you think about it. You can't do anything. Phase 1, just do your rotation. We're not here to hold your hand in your rotation during this video right now. So yeah, spread out. Put a portal down here, wherever you are. Just I always put a portal down, even if I don't use it in the whole fight, just because you never know if I need 2 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, 40 feet. Yeah. Put a portal up. do your single target rotation. Watch out for the mines. If you are metaing right here, you do got to watch out for the, I don't know what it's called, but on rip, I meta right away off rip. Like we're going in 3, 2, 1, fires are out, press the button, fires go out. I'm zooming in and I'm metaing because I want my emo aura. I want my emo aura done. First off, when we came in here, I ran this way and I portaled this. If you're over here, portal as you're running to your spot. You don't need to go start the fight and then portal. Obviously, you walk into this door, say you're running this way or this way, you can get kind of like really close to the boss without pulling. Not like on him, but you can get like over here, right? Run, put a portal down or put a portal down wherever you are, go to your spot. So then your portal's already up throughout the fight. You don't have to worry about it. Watch out for mines. Don't get hit by them. The meta. Yeah, meta early. Emo aura whenever you, like early as you can. After the 12 seconds, pour it out. The pre-portal you put down. Because like what, 15 seconds in, he's going to do his, I don't know the name of it, blast wave. It's something that, shock blast. There's right there. I think that's what it is. Shock blast it might be called. But it is a melee thing where melee has to run out. So just make sure you don't get caught in that because that will kill you.
This is a long fight, but I like to typically hold my meta for the second phase because it's like a tighter, there's a lot more damage going out. I like to get out of it faster. Like this phase doesn't really, like it's probably the least dangerous of all 4.
Yeah, it is. But this phase is also, I think, like a minute and 50 seconds, 45 seconds. So you ultimately are holding your meta for like 15 more seconds on it.
Yeah, you could probably get a second one out.
Yeah.
And a third.
That's the thing about meta, and I'm glad you mentioned this because I don't even think like that sometimes, and is like that. Sometimes, yeah, like where I'm holding it for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, Pummel's, I'm thinking, yeah, I want to hold it for more damage. He's thinking, well, if that's 20 seconds here to 20 seconds to the next time, that's actually a free meta. You know what I mean? That's a very good thing to mention and what everybody should be paying attention to as well. Yeah, phase 1, dodge mines. Do your single target rotation. Nothing really you can do about it. Do your fire bait stuff however your guild handles this, however they do it. Phase 2 comes, do the same thing you just did, shocker. Except for when he's doing his little like move out of the beam. I don't know what that's called either. Someone can help me with that. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't get hit by it.
No, that's what it's called. You got it.
It's called that laser beam shit. You can't do nothing. You're just here. Don't fall for the beta moving out of this. Yep, move out of rocket strike. Yeah, bloodlust should be happening here, I think, as well. I don't think this should be this or the next phase where the head comes down or something. But I don't think definitely not phase 4.
I think phase 4 is the best place now with the changes. I'm not even kidding.
Wait, well, what happened? What changed? What do you mean?
Well, they did it so now you have to kill them in a tighter window together. Like you have less time. Oh yeah,
true. Yeah.
Before they start repairing, and this phase, if you have like your 2 minutes from the first phase and your 3 minutes, your 3 minutes will be up in the last phase, and your 2 minutes should be up from the first phase. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue. But those hand pulses are really annoying in conjunction with like the 180 laser beam that could one-shot you, and then you got frozen bombs and you got fire. So this phase is like really hectic. But I would still lust the 4th phase if I could choose.
Nice, there you go. That's up to the guilds. That's not up to us.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys as guilds on that one. But notice when they are lusting, because remember, you want your meta with lust coming from a demo perspective. You always want to meta with lust if you can. Which you can always make sure you can. That's the point of that whole conversation we just had. All right, phase 2. There was nothing there besides dodging that spinning thing, that whatever it was called.
Bro, how's TakeNote doing 200k over the second person? What's wrong with you?
Built diff, dog.
Don't let your pet die to laser barrage.
Thank you. Yeah, poor
pets die quick on this fight. Yeah. They really do.
Especially if you're demo, like when laser barrage happens, just pull it back if you want to be safe. We need the snapshot for the raid. Yeah.
Yep. Tonk it.
Keep the boy alive.
Yeah.
Tonk it. Just kidding.
Imagine if Affliction had fell Dom.
Phase 3. What are you guys doing here?
Who do you guys typically have kite the head? Because I hear most guilds make their demo or an Affliction do it.
They have a demo.
Yeah, demo should do it because they have Soul Link. I've been doing it as Affliction because I'm very comfortable with it, and I've done it like on private servers a lot before, and I don't think all of our other Warlocks have the same experience. But demo is the best candidate, I believe.
One thing that I say that I help a lot that you see him doing right now is he has the head focused. I see a lot of people not focus targeting things. If you go through VODs of a lot of my stuff and take notes and then gamer stuff, they're going to see focus targets. It's pretty important. Whether you use a focus for your dots, that's up to you, which we suggest, but it helps a lot because right now you see take note on this assault bot, which he should be dotting up, which he is dotting up, especially corruptions. He doesn't have to do much. He just mouses over it. However he does this, I don't know. I assume he's using mouse overs, but however, it doesn't matter. Imagine he's tucked into this bot right here, you can always see this dude's health. It's very more important for Affliction than anything else because yes, you don't want dots to fall off as a Shadow Priest or a Demo Lock or anything like that. But if you let this Corruption fall off, dog, or a Shadow Embrace fall off, that's GG for your entire DPS, right? And the best way to keep track of that, well, yeah, it might be nice. You can keep track of here, but nothing is more than just having a frame that's all the way up. So get used to it.
I love my focus target.
Yeah, you do. How come you don't have a UA on the Soul Bot?
I don't know. I think they
Flipped
want
it.
us to focus ahead
Yeah,
more.
flipped
We're
it,
not that
flipped it.
many casters.
It's in a good place.
Yeah.
Your focus target. Got to move around my UI.
When it comes to seeding, also, guys, this, which you see him doing great on right now, don't get too greedy with seeds. It's kind of one of those things where it comes with, I've noticed it comes with practice, if that's the right word, where the more you're in there, the more you're wiping, the more you know and stuff like that. But know when to seed and when, like, okay, we need a little bit of help, but okay, we don't need that much help. Okay, we need a little bit of help, but we don't need that much help. Okay, I'm going to bolt here. Okay, we need a little bit of sec. You see him doing it now. Okay, we need a little bit of seeds here. Get them low. The melee or whoever else will finish them off. You know what I mean? Because you already know everyone else is going to be greedy, right? It's up to the Warlocks to not be greedy and kind of do our job, you know? This is, well, I don't know if they're less than this. This is what it used to last. I don't know. Usually you save whatever you have for when they're down, right? If you're going to meta this, wait till the head's down. If you have meta up. Anything else?
I don't think I meta at this point at
Mhm.
like 20% because
Yeah.
you're about to go into the last phase.
Yeah, it's meta early in this phase if you have it. If you have it up.
Watch out for those fire bots. They'll silence you.
Yep.
They're a pain in the ass.
Mhm. Good call. The ones
Silencer, and
with
they
these
will
little
one
things
shot
above
you if
them.
they hit you with their beam.
All right, that's phase 3. And then for the last phase, it is all those phases combined with the 3 things in the middle. Fighting them all. First question is right a rip is what is your Affliction multi-dotting rules for this phase?
Survive.
Outside of it's range's job because the melee can hit the bottom and the middle. It's the range's job to hit the head. So kind of like how we were talking about on Freya with the 3 ads where you're going to focus the snap lashers. You should be focus targeting the head and making sure that like I like to multi-dot this phase. I'm staying alive like you said, and as Affliction Warlock, I focus target the head and I keep my haunt on the head and I'm multi-dotting everything else. And I'm just trying to keep it. That's the fun of it in my opinion. I want to keep 3 Shadow Embrace and full deck all 3 of these out while spinning anything I can in the head with Nightfalls. That gets hard to do sometimes, but I don't know. What do you guys think, Nemo? Take note, Affliction wise.
I mean, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm not exactly sure yet which one is like the mathematical best one. But what I do is like you say, like like all dots and haunt, triple Shadow Embrace on the head, and then I will put a corruption on the middle part, and I'll spam seed into the bottom. Some people though prefer, you keep triple Shadow Embrace up on every single part while you do multi-dotting. I don't know the mathematical best one yet.
That one's a lot harder to do because there's so much
for sure.
movement. You can't reliably do that. And if you get haste procs, there's a really good chance like your corruption falls off because you can't refresh it in time. It's just a very messy fight where I think seed is by far like the best thing you could do in the last phase, like the most realistic one where you fully dot the head, make sure you don't lose Shadow Embrace, keep as many dots up on the middle as possible with hopefully Shadow Embrace as well, and just seed the bottom.
Do you find that seeding the bottom, like the base, does it also hit the head, or is seeding the chest better because it hits the head and the bottom?
It should hit the head. It should hit the head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should hit the
I
head.
was seeding the
I guess we'll
chest
watch
because
it.
I didn't try to seed the
I
bottom.
also was
I'm just
seeding
asking.
chest as well. But now that I'm looking at it, it feels like it's in looking at the range. If you think of how the range of a seed is.
Yeah, usually in our runs, the chest was typically the last thing to
Yeah.
die.
Which means we could be seeing
So,
off, but yeah.
I definitely like the head, putting full dots in the head and Shadow's Embrace stack. So that's good comms.
Yeah, this is a fun fight very fun for Affliction because you can do that. You could full dot 1 corruption and then seed bottom. You can full trip everything, full dot it all and just have some fun with it. As long as you're just not sitting there single targeting the head the whole time. You know what I mean? Do something. You got to do. This is where Affliction shines. Do something. Keep some corruptions up. Keep as many dots as you feel comfortable up having. You throw all your Nightfalls into the head. Seed if you're gonna seed. Don't seed the head so you can do damage to the seed, right? I like what they said where you just big seed the top. Big dot the top, dot the middle, and then seed off bottom.
Good Inferno.
Very good Inferno. This is where you'd save your Inferno for as well, yeah. For Demo, I fucking emo corrupted everything besides my bottom and then I'm seeding. Emo for sure. Emo's fat. Well, the thing about emo and corruption, when do you guys stop seeding and you start draining for Affliction?
I think it depends if like one part is way behind other parts. Like let's say the chest is like still 25%, the head and the bottom is like 10%, then it's definitely start draining.
And then if they're even, you'd still seed though?
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure as well. It's hard to find like sims that actually showcase Seed of Corruption and multi-targeting.
Don't worry, someone in the YouTube comments will be like, yeah, actually, technically, if you do this backwards on a Thursday, it's more DPS. You guys are bums.
Can we get a...
How much is the Drain Soul tick doing? Like 15? 14? Okay, with all the dots up?
Actually, don't
find out right now. Yeah, 12, 13.
I think the closest reference we can get to this is like how people play triple stack Horseman right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the closest we can get to, like, do you actually drain soul? But those die so fast that it's like not really the same scenario.
Just to chime in on this one for Demo before we move on over is obviously you're gonna get a good juicy meta out of this. Don't die. Don't be like carried away because you're like, oh, I finally get the meta and seed and then die to the fire like I've done or the mines. But you do get a good. Go ahead.
The melee have a lot of mechanics we don't normally have to deal with, like the shock blasts and the frozen bomb. Just you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Mm-hmm.
I've died to the shock blasts to the base because I ran in for an Nemo aura and just got slammed into the wall.
Mm-hmm. So same thing as kind of what they said for Affliction for Demo is we've done 1,000 pulls here, and I've done it to where I'm keeping Immolate and Corruption on all three, besides one, and then seeding one. I've done it to where I'm keeping Emo and Corruption on all three, and just spewing Soulfires. That's my favorite. My favorite thing in the world is just putting Emo and Corruption on all three, Agony, triple die, and then all I'm doing is popping my Flame Cap, and then I'm just spamming Soulfire the entire time, and and just keeping those dots up. Your Molten Core uptime was like 70-something%. It was crazy. I do not, just like they said, I do not know if that's the meta way to do it. I do not know if that's more than seeding. If I had to blindly guess, I'd probably say the best is probably still to do Emo Corruption on the top two, and then do your seed or whatever on the bottom. It's probably, I would guess mathematically it's going to be that, but that's not fun to me. The fun thing is Emo, Corruption, Agony, Flame Cap, Haste Gloves, Soulfires, all fucking day into that bottom one. It feels amazing, dog. Oh yeah, I guess we're not Flame Capping. Oh no. Yeah, I'm still gonna Flame Cap actually. I'm gonna Flame Cap trash packs. Big monstrous Emo Aura trash packs. I'm lying to you. I've used the Potion of Speed.
I'm gonna Health Stone. Woo.
I don't think that it should put Potion on cooldown for 3 minutes. I think it should still put it on for 1 minute.
Fuck Flame Caps.
Well, I know, but you should be able to use a Flame Cap and like trash packs or whatever, But why would you if you have a potion? Wait, anything else about this real quick? Emo wise, Emo Aura, don't die. Get a good Emo Aura out of this. Make sure you have Corruptions up for Molten Core procs because we want Molten Core procs while we're spamming Soulfire. Don't even spam Soulfire if you don't have Corruptions up. I like Immolate because it does a lot of damage. Just my personal thing.
This is one of the most fun fights for Warlocks, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely top 2 for me.
It very is nice. Destro, Immolate on all of them.
I guess something to say, like, I guess it's easier said than done, is like, don't panic. Like, a lot of people see a lot of fire and they panic, but the fire is moving so slow. There's bombs spawning with the boss, so don't go near the boss. The shock blast, don't go near the boss. Like, if
Fire's also capped.
What?
The fire caps.
Yeah, they're also capped. So, like, just take a chill. Try to look at where you want to go next and stuff like that. That helps a lot.
Big pet here. Watch your pet stuff.
Also,
watch your pet, especially you demo locks.
Don't be afraid to run through fire in general. Like, sometimes that's the safest way to survive.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
One take of fire, it's completely fun.
The fun one, boys. So I want to talk about this opener. Can we just talk about how you opened just now? Because there's a certain way that we have to open. Is there a reason that, we know this reason, but I'm going to let you explain it. Is there a reason why you see us Warlocks kind of just way back here and everybody else is up here, but the pull timer's getting ready to pull?
For some reason, Vezax is the only boss where if you pre-place a portal, it will disappear when combat starts. So you got to put it right after combat starts.
And for those wondering, the portal is back here because there's a mechanic called Faceless something and others that you might get at some point, and whoever gets it in the raid has to run out with it. Luckily for us, we don't have to run out. We get to just portal out, right? And it's always better to portal out than portal back in. Well, at least in this case it is, because it's usually I like it backwards. I like to be able to port back to where I am, but this case, the way the faceless debuff works is it drains people. So you just want to get out right away with it. That's why we portal. So you start the fight. Fight has started. We portal. We run in. You lose a little bit of DPS, but that doesn't matter because you're not DPSing here. This is when this fight is fun, period. But this is when this is like the first fight where it's like way spicy. It's like I don't know. Just talk about it. Go ahead, take note. This is a very exciting fight, especially for Affliction.
The boss will send out some shadow crashes. You run out of those, and then they leave behind a pool. You run into those pools, and you cast.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you want to do it in those pools is that you cannot regenerate mana on the fight. So, and those pools will like give you a reduction, like 75% reduction to any spell, like the mana cost. So you never want to cast outside of those crashes.
This is a crash in the air right here.
Well.
This is beautiful purple thing that's going to hit the ground. It's going to hit the ground wherever they are. If you get hit by that, it knocks you back and does a decent amount of damage to you, right? However, when that lands, it leaves a pool that you can't see right now, but it leaves a pool a little bit bigger than the Shadow Nova itself, and that pool buffs you significantly, and reduces your mana cost of all your spells by like 75% or something like that. So that's why you don't cast. And this fight is a long fight, especially if you're doing hard mode, so you don't want to cast anything at all. Every time you cast something, I hope it's 75% because I'm going to keep saying 75%. Every time you cast something outside of this Shadow Nova, you are costing 75% more mana for your stuff, which is a big deal because you don't get mana regen on this fight. You do normally on normal mode, but since this is a hard mode, you're not killing. On normal mode, you have these little gas things that come in, you can kill and get mana back. But on hard mode, you let them vibe out, right? You're letting them all vibe out. That means that nobody's getting mana. You can't life tap. You can't. Is there like some cheesy thing you can do for mana someone else can do? Dark rune. You can dark rune.
Yeah.
You can dark rune or some stupid shit for like no mana.
If like healers need it badly, you can innervate a holy paladin, have them divine plea, then you DI them.
Jeez. There you go. There you have it. So outside of that, boys, you're not getting any mana back, which might not sound like a big idea, but it is a much bigger idea because we life tap. So none of us realize how much our stuff really costs, bro.
Segueing that, would you consider if you noticed your mana was going down faster than the boss's health, would you consider editing a part of your rotation or cutting something out to conserve mana?
Yeah, what you could do is instead of doing Shadow Bolt fillers, you could do Drain Soul while you're in the Shadow Crash, and then just let that do almost the full channel while you just keep up Shadow Embrace. Because Drain Soul, like even above 25%, it's going to be super mana efficient, and it'll just keep all of your dots up. It'll refresh your corruption. It's just like another option.
I've dropped Immolate as demo before to conserve mana, because if you get to execute, Soulfire is one of the cheapest spells in the Warlock toolkit, so you can last forever if you have like 35-40% mana going into execute.
Mm-hmm. This is a simple example, as because we're going to talk about it a lot. This is a Shadow Nova. They get a Shadow Nova out, they move over, not casting anything. It lands, you move back to it, you get the buff, you're good to go. That's when when the buff comes up, then you can cast. You can continue talking. Sorry, that's what it looks like. That's why we're moving. That's why we're not going to cast anything. So waste the mana. Don't do it. The minute anything, reapplying corruptions, draining, anything outside of there is going to severely hurt your mana. So your number one thing is to know that. So as an Affliction lock, if something happened in your Shadow Nova and you could not keep your corruption up, yeah, you want to keep your corruption up, right? You're going to have to bite that bullet, but you need to do everything in your power to avoid that.
Should probably have rank 1 life tap keybound too, because you should still tap, but the healer mana is precious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it so well in this video, but what I like to do as Affliction Warlock, if I'm like here spamming Shadow Ball, is to stay on the edges of the Shadow Crash. So when you finish the Shadow Ball cast and you got to move away from another Shadow Crash, the Shadow Ball will land outside of the buff, and it will make your corruption like a 10-second plus duration again, so you don't need to recast corruption and waste mana.
There you go. And this is the mark of the faceless one that we were talking about earlier, why you portal. He gets it. This is why you portal earlier. Normally you run out, he portals. It does this and it drains them, and you don't want any of that. Now it's not draining him, you see? If you were to stay there, it would have drained him. He has it. It's draining him. If you're to stay there, those green beams keep going out, but he's out, right? No. So since he's out, beams break. No one's hurt. You can't do anything here. You can't get mana back. You're kind of hanging out. Your corruption's kind of fucked. You want to hope you can get back soon. You can boot back and do all this other stuff, but you know.
And it is not worth it to finish your cast ever. When you get that debuff, it's just like it heals for hundreds of thousands.
We healed 10 million on one pull because people were moving out. Get out of there immediately.
Yep. So you see him boot out of there. These strats with the 2 circles, people are going to do different strats, but some people do 1 big one, 2 groups on 1 big one, 2 small ones. So just it's less on strats and more about what you're doing as a warlock in there.
I used to be a 1 circle shill, but recently, if everybody knows what they're doing, I think the 2 circle just looks superior.
These are the vapors, by the way. You get mana back if you blow them up. Don't blow them up. Is it 7 for hard mode? You just leave them up.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And you do your rotation. Pretty much you're just doing your rotation. You portal out if you have to face this one. If you get double, if you can't portal out, run out. You move out for the shadow cast. Don't cast anything when you're outside of it. You move back onto it. You continue your rotation. That rotation, as your mana gets low, as these gentlemen said, you can find yourself drain souling as you see them doing right now, instead of shadow bolting. Because remember, you're Affliction Warlock. You want your dots up more than you're going to be.
The crash is deceptively large. Like I thought I was out of range like multiple times, and then I get sent back flying. So just be sure you're out.
Yep. And you see look how much faster look how much faster he's casting. His Shadow Bolt's casting. His Haunt at 0.4, Shadow Bolt at 0.7. I mean, so you're casting much faster, which is nice.
That's screwed you there. Shadow crash in the back. What the hell?
He was out with the mark and got crashed outside. So
that's the downside to the 2 circle strat, because sometimes you just get rocked like that. There's nothing you do. But I mean, if you're just chilling and mana's fine, it doesn't really matter that much.
As for Demo, it's the same thing. As for Demo, you keep up your Immolate and Corruption when you're inside. I also drop Immolate if I have to drop something because of the Molten Cores. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather, if I can, I'd rather be able to throw some Molten Core and Incinerates out during the fight. I drop Drain Soul, drop Shadow Bolt for Drain Soul. If you get really, really low, I didn't have to find myself doing that much. I was able to keep up most, like he said, if I had to, I had to drop Immolate. That was only a couple times. It didn't feel that bad as Demo. And then when you're in execute phase, it's even better because your soul fires are fucking spitting out so fast. And so it's just really nice. You're not having it costs virtually no mana. It's like our cheapest spell out of like our whole spell toolkit pretty much. So as Demo, it feels really comfy here. You're just keeping up Immolate, Corruption, your Doom, and you're spamming your soul fires. Move out, don't cast anything. Rank 1 life tap if you need to. Move back in. Soul fire, soul fire, soul fire, soul fire, soul fire. Or in this case, Affliction, Drain Soul, keep your dots up. Anything else?
Watch your threat.
Yeah, definitely watch your threat.
Very good
I
Destro
also
fight.
I feel like it depends on your raid, of course, but in my raid, I found that the magic number for mana you want to save when the animal spawns is like 40%.
Okay.
So I don't do any damage when I reach 40% mana. I want to save it for the animals.
Okay. And we'll see the animals coming up here in a little bit.
Oh, you guys did hard mode for this. Nice.
Yeah.
Damn, look at Cope God Y. God damn.
Yeah, Ellie's pretty good on this
This
fight.
is a good fight. It's a good Destro fight too. I was going to say that earlier. It feels clunky because a lot of your stuff in the Shadow Nova is cast so fast, but it actually is pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, and skill up your wand. Wanding when you're not casting here is actually not that bad.
I haven't tested it too much, but have you tested using an imp and microing it in and out of Shadow Crash? I don't know if it gets.
Yes, I did actually. I did.
It does get the buff. It does get the buff.
I did a couple where it was a few pools where I was Demo and then I was Destro as well, where I had an imp out and he was slapping and he was not getting hurt. He would just sit in that shit all day, pump out.
Macroing it in and out of the Shadow Crash, I think, is a little bit more difficult because the imp does get knocked back by the Shadow Crash. So
but you just pull him back. I mean, people always say it's not hard to call your pet. You just call it back. Especially a fight like this where it's very like almost commonsensical to just be like, oh, I'm moving, move my pet. Whereas Yogg, it's like there's a fucking 1,000 things that can kill your pet on Yogg, right?
I can just see people like, they're focused on their pet, like where their pet is, and then they miss where they are, and then they get knocked back with the Shadow Crash.
You just have to get the muscle memory. It's like as you run out, you hit pet follow. As you run back in, you hit pet follow again.
Yep, and it's also very important with especially because imp does good damage here, especially when I don't know how much your Felhunter does, but it's garbage on this fight. He will sometimes not be in the Shadow Nova casting because you can say come here and cast, but he may get knocked back or get interrupted and like be right on the edge, and you'll think he's in there the whole time, but he's not. So just kind of pay attention to it. Like you said, if you're just follow, you have no problem at all.
You don't even get a chance to drain there.
Nah,
You
I was
get-
bad
just
on
keep-
G.
Getting knocked back.
Yeah, this
So
is.
you
I think
killed
this is a very fun fight. This is gonna be a good one.
I keep hearing our melees hating this fight so much on Discord, though. I don't understand it.
do no
They get
damage.
attack speed slow, and it's boring.
This is a boring melee fight. That's why I said I think you should use Imp and not Fell Hunter here.
If they miss a kick, though, it's very major. They carry the fight,
For sure.
so we can have fun.
Actually, I haven't seen hard mode for this before. Looks very nice. Also, rip your spell haste totem.
Yeah.
So this is what it feels like when you're out of mana. By the way, it feels like ass. You're just doing nothing. You're just like, oh my god, can I get anything?
Him a Hope
You-
gives you that extra base, but it goes away like instantly.
And then my teammate grieves me, go to the other pool, and now I'm all alone.
All
I'm
alone,
like,
bro. Hey,
yeah.
all alone. But what is he doing, gentlemen? He's wanding, boys. Wands. They are big deals. There's a reason he's #1 speedrunning Warlock in the world, bro. He's wanding.
Got beat by Mana Slave.
Don't fucking release, boys. All right. Anything else this fight? Think about nothing really besides he looks cool.
Just practice on not getting hit by shatter. Wait, what was the hard mode?
We got the
Yeah, what-
shitty leather item.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good
That's
thing.
good for Boomkins. Go Boomkins.
Okay. I feel like we're forgetting something. I don't know.
Algalon and
Oh,
Yogg.
yeah. So, Yoggy. We're going to attack this by phases, alternating back and forth from Affliction to Demo, starting with Affliction and Demo. Guess what? Phase 1, don't hit the poisons, blow up the dude. Don't hit the gas while you're trying to blow up the dude. Go ahead.
I made people AFK by the door if they spawned a gas cloud.
Nice.
The next attempt, I said your punishment's just stay AFK by the door.
I'm very excited for this one because I've done 70 something pulls as a Warlock on this just on the PTR. And we've had a lot of discussions with obviously Pummel knows in the guild about this fight too with the Warlocks. Like the biggest thing you can do is not get hit by the green things. It spawns a thing as you can see, it makes that big light, spawns a thing, blow it up. Starting with Affliction, there's no point in fully dotting up these things. They die so fast. I put up a corruption, I spam shadow bolts. Sometimes you can get away with like if you get one procced by you, like if one popped out here, you can see it glow. You can kind of edge towards it because this is going to die at some point, and you can put up like a UA and a corruption. But don't I'm not telling TakeNote not to. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm not going to fully dot these. Like, oh wow, I did not know that was going to happen. That's crazy. So right now I see this. There's no add up. I'm already kind of making sure this is in range. I'm going to put UA add up because nobody else is really going to. The melee. If this pops up here, the melee's already there. The melee's already there. People are already there. This, no one's going to buy it. So you get good UA value out of this. This is what my mind is thinking. I'm UAing, I'm crushing, I'm shadow bolting.
I like to drain life here when they get low because your shadow bolt just isn't fast enough to actually make it.
And
So
you can't
towards
take
the end,
either.
if you want an extra 1,000 damage or so.
That's nice. That's a good idea. Obviously, when more of them come up, dot them up. For Demo, do the same thing you just did as Affliction. Just keep up. I don't put up Immolate. I just put up Corruption up and spam Shadow Bolts. Sometimes I just spam Shadow Bolts. If it's something that lands like way over here in that example, I might Immolate it, but it's 24 seconds. You're not getting good value out of it. I do like Corruption just because I don't want to say more often than not, but a lot of times, like right now, there's 2 Guardians up as both specs. I'm gonna like this back one's gonna come up. You got good value out of your dots, but don't just waste them. Like there's no point. I don't think there's a point in agonying these at all. They die too fast. You could have just shadow bolted instead of agony in that example. As a Demo lock, I'm not immolating for that same example. It's 24 seconds. It's just as long as an agony. Maybe not as bad because agony doesn't do a lot of damage up front, but I'm still not going to waste the time on an immolate there. For your meta, it's dangerous to meta. You can just make sure as long as you have meta when you go into your second phase. So like blow a meta early if you want. Just don't make sure it's up before you go into the tentacle phase. If it's like you blow it now and then you tentacle phase starts, you don't have your meta for a minute, you pop that, now tentacle phase is off, you don't have meta for phase 3. You see what I mean? And also when you run in there, they blow up when they die, right? So if you're meta and emo aura, you run in here, get some cheeky damage off like I've done many times, cheeky damage, and then you die because they blow up. That happened to me 60 something pulls on this fight. That happened to me one single time. I got flamed for it out of me doing it 60 pulls straight. So don't get caught by that. Don't be greedy. Just get your meta 12 seconds in on a fresh one if you have to, and then run out. Or just that damage in his face doesn't matter much. And these guys are going to die no matter what. Just don't risk it. So whatever side of the fence you want to be on. You know what I mean? Just be careful.
If you're Affliction, you can also keep an eye out for the kicks. Your Fell Hunter. Those if they go off, it does a lot of damage. Sometimes the melee are distracted. We can watch and see if one casts.
I think it's like the only thing they cast.
Yeah.
Cool.
whatever it may be.
Destro just email. This is. I mean, if you're talking about just
Dark volley.
phase by phase. Oh, there it is. Dark volley. Anderson Jr. get it. Nice. Phase by phase. Excellent. Destro, you just emulate, can flag that shit. Full send into him. You actually will carry this phase. Of course, Destro would carry the phase. It doesn't matter much. But phase 2 eventually will happen. I can't think of anything else here, right? No, don't dodge everything. Cool. Phase 2. Phase 2. Phase 2. Phase 2. Phase 2. Phase 2.
Oh, phase 2.
Phase 2. There we go. Phase 2. All right, phase 2, there's tentacles everywhere. And there's 3 tentacles. There's the Corruptor Tentacle, the Constructor Tentacle, and then the Crusher Tentacle. The Constructor Tentacle has like no damage at all, dies really fast, just picks up a random raid member, crushes him, and just does some damage to him. Blow it up if you buy it. If you're an Affliction Warlock, if I'm buy it, I'll spend some bolts into it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to run to it because someone else, unless no one's there, obviously, because someone else, it's like a very, very low HP thing. If no one is by it, go kill it. If you have everybody swarming it, let them kill it because you're just not gonna make it in time. That leaves the Crushers and the Corruptors. The Crusher Tentacles have a melee thing that causes the melee not to be in there. Okay, it crushes. Shocker. It also crushes. Yeah, literally was just gonna say that too. Yeah, it also crushes pet.
Also, you don't want to be within like 20 or 25 yards of the Crusher Tentacles because when the Paladins judge it, they can auto attack, and then their auto attack range is very, very big. It's like 20, 25 yards.
And
so
you can also
you just want to almost max range it.
Yep, and you can also crush you or whoever, in this case your pet, and then crush other people with your pet. So
you can still cast in the Constrictor Tentacle if you get caught, so you can like kind of help free yourself.
Big, bro. Thank you. Yes, you can. You got to click it though. You can't tab into him for some stupid reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know why.
In this example, just a brief example. This is a tentacle. Whatever's right here, right? So, in this, if I was to send my pet, this is a regular whatever. If whatever this is, it could be over here. The point is, there's a Crusher here. If I need to send my pet past this Crusher, that Crusher can clap it out. So even if you are not, it's you too. Even if you're skirting this line, you're like, oh, I don't want to get it. He will fucking wow and then crush you out. So be careful for that. Make sure that I've had many pets die and been yelled at it for. I'm like, dude, I didn't even send my pet in. I sent them. It's because I sent them to a tentacle way over here, and my dumbass pet goes oh, and gets slammed sumo down on the way there. So
look at that Corruptor right there. That'd be perfect, dude. So, just send your little Felguard at that Corruptor on the left, and then you're
exactly. And in this situation, the tentacles just spawned out. Your job as an Affliction Warlock and a Demonology is to dot up as many tentacles as you can. Right?
You can also run Imp.
Go ahead.
You can also run Imp in this phase, and then as you're transitioning to the last phase, when you're cleaned up on tentacles, just summon a Fell Hunter, because there's usually a gap.
Smart. Is there something you can dispel off yourself?
Yeah, you do want to be able to dispel and interrupt too, which is kind of nice, so you do lose that ability.
I don't know about that. That's a good idea. Or crazy thing here is Fell Hunter doesn't do like crazy damage, right? He does damage, but he's not doing like Felguard damage. If
mine cranks, I don't know.
If you're like really struggling, don't fucking send him in. Just leave your pet AFK by you. Just to leave your pet alive, right? Your Fell Hunter, especially if you're a Felguard. If you're a Felguard user, disregard what I said and make sure your Felguard's up, because 1 demonic pack, 2 he does a lot of damage. Just make sure he doesn't die. You have Fel Dom too, so you know what I mean. But just be careful. In this situation, your primary is a Crusher because melee can't hit Crushers. The melee can hit Corruptors. For that reason, I'm still dotting the shit out of a Corruptor. If I'm an Affliction Warlock or a Demonology or a Destro Lock, I'm dotting whatever spec my toolkit of dots are is on everything that's in my range, and then I'm shadow bolting the Crusher. That's the gist of it. I will stop at some point you'll see if we play this, at some point you'll see tentacles spawn over here. My ass is running over there to dot that up. You know, if it's a Corruptor or a Crusher, unless this Corruptor is going down really fast right here because all the melee is, and another Corruptor spawns right here. I'm not going to touch that because these melee are already on it right there. That's their job is just to kill them. They can't do anything else. They literally can't do anything else but kill these Crushers and do the stuff inside the eye, whatever the brain room. I mean, so they're just kind of waiting for it, right? So you can not be. This is when I talked earlier about not being greedy and be like, oh, I want a pad. Let the melee handle that. You handle these Crushers. This is a constructor behind it. You see how fast it'll die because it has almost no health. You usually have a couple people designated to go free whoever it is. Like Pummel said, if you are the one chosen constricted, you can damage it yourself. You could probably solo it. It would take a while. I don't know how many shadow bolts it would take. Like 10 maybe.
It has
10,
like
50.
100k health, so it's not that much.
Yep. He got a good one here because he had a bunch of tentacles. You just pump drain into him. I would focus on it gets more hectic as we go along. I would focus more on getting dots out on Maul, like how he is right now. He's sitting in the middle of here one. He's got this full dotted. He's got this full dotted. That's a constructor, so you don't need to waste your time over there. If that was a corruptor, I would dot this one, and I might be able to wiggle there, or I'd go around. And
You get bopped out.
Oh,
If
there is
you
a
get like
corruptor right here.
constructed near the crusher tentacle, you can call for a bop, and
There you
it'll
go.
free you from the tentacle, and you won't die to the crush.
Perfect. So phase 2 is showing people why you warlocks are good. Your Affliction Warlock, your job is to do what you, and same with the Shadow Priest, your job is to do what you've been waiting for. That is multi-dot scenarios. That is the dot 40,000 things at one time, powerhouse it. But dodge this fucking crusher and dodge these beams that look like nothing. They don't hurt you when they look like this. And then they just turn on. And as soon as they activate, it just instant death. Yeah, I think it 2 ticks you right here. It's 1-2 tick. Now, the problem is that I've learned the hard way, learned from us, is you're running from this beam and you got to watch out for this, right? But then there's another thing called malady, there's the word, malady, which passes to somebody else. So you got to run from that while running from the beam, while running from the crusher. So that's just amongst those, keep your dots up. As if you are as an Affliction lock Warlock in general are just doing that job right there, keeping your dots up on as much as you can and keeping your pets alive and just dodging that, you're already winning. You're already doing better than most Warlocks will be doing. You're doing phenomenal. There.
I'm gonna call it Milady.
Okay, chime in. I talked. You guys go.
You also don't want to be that jackass that's alone, so always be with the pack when you're doing this. Because if you get like constricted away from the raid, you're just gonna feel like a real asshole when a bunch of people like have to run to you, break you out, you end up dying still, or like, you know, maybe you get what's it called, the brain link thing, and then you're on the other side. You don't want to do that as well.
Quick note, right? Just because it's here, these guys freeze after a while. I don't know what caused it. Probably something in the brain room.
You kill or activate the brain inside, basically, and then everything is stunned.
Okay, perfect. So they can't hurt you. Like you said, it's stunned. So you can be here. I use this time, bad example, but a lot of this is just a clean ass pool they have. But a lot of the times it'll be a tentacle here. You don't see all these bunched up. It'll be like one here, one here, one here, one here. You know, this is a good time to, if there is one here or one here, and I've been looking at it, maybe it just spawned, but I'm scared to go by because this is the crusher. Always stunned. This is a good time for me to triple dot, sneak on over to them, dot them up, and kind of post up in this spot and be able to reach everything. Like you want to look for like, where are all the tentacles? Where can you be centralized to where you can hit a majority of them with minimal movement, right? And at the beginning stages, it's not going to be a lot because you're just sitting here fighting one. There's only be a couple that spawn. Then you're kind of just posting up, putting up dots, and you're running to catch up. But at the same time, know that you don't want to just be running around the whole time. You don't want to be dotting up, running. You want to dot up, run, post up, spam some shadow bolts, because you can waste a lot of uptime and a lot of damage just running around the whole time looking for tentacles rather than just planting your feet and spamming some shadow bolts, right? But if it ever gets like this one spawn here, one's here, and one's here, I'm done and I'm going over there and I'm dotting them up and planting and I'm pumping. Go ahead, somebody else. Phase 2 stuff.
I think you kind of covered all of phase 2. I think we're ready for the best part of being an Affliction lock in Ulduar phase 3.
I think you can get some cheeky dooms off on crushers, because crushers are the longest to kill if you're like the first one on that crusher side of things. I'm not going to help you much if you're Affliction Warlock because you like agony. But if you're like a crusher spawns by you, move out of the way so you don't get crushed, you can doom it. You might be able to get that off. That's on your decision, especially if you have one of those pools where the tentacles are all spread out everywhere and you're kind of just like running around. Those are the fun ones, by the way, when you are booting over here to get all your dots up. The crusher spun, running over here to get these dots up, porting back over here, and this is like one of the most fun fights as Affliction because it's the one time, probably only, besides Kolgurn, which is kind of patty too, one of the only times in the game it feels like your job is just to pad, but it's like you're supposed to. Like your job is just to do as much damage as you fucking possibly can, and it's a lot of fun for that way. Same with Demo. Obviously, you're not as impactful as an Affliction Warlock on this fight for many reasons, but you are. I guess you are more impactful because you have Demonic Pact, but this is Affliction heaven right here, you know.
I wish we got sent into the brain. It's so much more fun down there than just on tentacle cleanup duty.
I've never been in the brain. Is there anything that is that even something that Warlocks would ever do ever? And
no,
you want to touch on it?
Melee typically just go into the brain, but if you get chosen to go into the brain, you go in. There's like 3 different rooms, and you kill these tentacles or disguised as different people, and then you turn around and then there's a door that opens up to the brain and you run in. But your melee will be taking care of that. Okay. And the only time you ever go in, like I've gone in to cover someone who got constricted or killed, and that's about it. It's almost like never.
Okay. All right. Phase 3, the fun phase. This is when you are not fighting tentacles. Tentacles go down. You're fighting Yogg for 1. He's already in execute phase or really close to it. Usually he's like 25, 30%. He's at 30% right now. So that tells you.
Yeah, these tentacles were not supposed to be there. There was a bug during this PTR session where when you force in phase 3, the tentacles will spawn no matter what, but they shouldn't be the live version.
So every guild will have different strats here. There's strats where they have the warlocks seeding these ads, or they have obviously you're an Affliction warlock, you should be draining almost the entire time. Obviously this is not sub 25%. This is 30% in this exact example. So you just go about your raid leader call out / Affliction warlock duties during this time, whatever that you typically would do until execute phase. And then when execute phase comes, this is when it's the best to be a warlock. You guys have heard of it before. We get the drain soul. I'm sorry. He has a mechanic where the whole thing is this 52 is there's a sanity, what I think it's called sanity. And you lose your mind, you get mind controlled if it goes to 0. He does an ability where you have to turn away like this. Very fucking simple. You turn away. Okay? If you don't, you lose sanity. It's that fucking easy. I say that because you did amazed at how many people don't fucking turn around. It's crazy. Affliction warlocks are absolute best in slot for this reason because they can drain and turn around. So as long as you can't turn around and drain, but as long as you're facing it and you lock in that channel, you can turn around and get the whole channel off. Side note, you can also turn around and seed. You can seed without facing your target, which is very helpful because there's times when you might need to seed here, for example, which is more of a demo thing. Now, there's nothing to say there. You keep your dots up, you snap a drain. Okay, right now, an example, Lunatic Gaze is what it's called. You see it getting casted by the boss right about, wait for it. Now, when this happens, you turn around. Obviously, there will be amazing timers for this, probably by the time Ulduar comes out soon. When you see it happening, make sure all your dots are up. I will even clip a dot if I have to make sure I can turn around and that fucking UA doesn't fall off. If I drain right now and turn around and that UA's off, I'm mad. Versus I have 2 seconds. Like if I have I have 1 second. Yeah, if I have 1 second on UA right now and I drain, turn around, my UA's off right now. It's off. It's off. It's still 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 off.
Oh, you don't have to face the target to cast UA.
I know, but you want to snap the drain first before you turn around.
Oh, I just eat the Lunatic Gaze for a second.
There you go. Whoa, hey, you didn't hear that from me. You heard, eat the lunatic gaze from them, okay?
Above 16 sanity, I agreed hard. I think that's the rule.
I think you're okay to greed here too. If you're in if you did very good, that's the thing is I guess it's kind of RNG with Psychosis can be RNG, but I think if you have some good, you can afford to lose some here. I would go as low as 16. I'm scared. But I
save my insanity in economy for sub 10% because the beginning part's the easy part, but when you get to the second beacon and stuff or 0 light, that's when you can just face tank the Lunatic Gaze and go for the kill.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we're only doing 1 light here.
Yeah.
I would say that make sure you're not the typical rotation, but just turn around, right? I completely ignore these other ads. I like to put a corruption or 2 on there just for eradication procs on my drain souls. I see him doing it multiple times too. I assume that everyone's going to be doing that. That's just like a throw it up real quick and then keep on going about your, just like you would in any other aspect of the game. You keep a corruption or 2 up for eradication procs. Anything else? Affliction wise?
If you want to be cute as Demo, you could start casting your Soulfire, do a 180 during Lunatic Gaze, and as it's about to go off, you do another 180, unleash it, start casting another one, and then turn back around. So you could still have good uptime, but it is a little bit dangerous. You're playing with Lunatic Gaze ticks, and then you also want to make sure you have a lot of sanity when you do this. As an Affliction Warlock on this fight, hopefully you go into this phase with high sanity because it's super beneficial to just never drop Shadow Embrace or Haunt. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to just hard cast Haunt into the boss, even if he's Lunatic Gazing, to keep it up, and then drain and turn around throughout the entire fight, because it's not always going to line up where you're just going to be able to Haunt, Drain Soul, turn around, Gaze finishes, Haunt, Drain Soul, turn around, So you want to burn through your sanity a little bit, but leave a little bit of buffer for error.
Yeah, you see TakeNote do a lot here now. He started this phase with 50, 60 or something like that. Insanity. He is at 8 right now. He's about to go to 8. So
yeah, right here, it's a good call. That he let his Shadow Embrace drop because it's a little bit risky at this point. Do
you know how much per tick you'd lose?
It's 4 per tick.
4.
Rewind this phase while we're talking about it. TakeNote, do you have anything Affliction wise? Anybody Affliction wise?
Yeah, just what Nemo said. I'm struggling here. It's hard with this high MS, but that's no excuse. But yeah, never drop haunt. Never drop
Sounds like one.
So try
Yeah.
to keep as much. Don't get hit by anything. That also loses your sanity, right? In the early phases. Or is it only
like
psychosis?
Malady and stuff. Yeah, will like.
You
take
could
it
just get
down.
unlucky.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's psychosis? But like malady, you can run out. If you don't, it takes some damage from you. When you take damage from like the beam and live from it, does it take sanity from you? Or is it only those certain abilities that like psychosis and like malady?
I
mean-
think the dots too from like the diseases might, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So moral of the story: do everything in your power so you can have as much sanity going into the phase, so you can be a little more loose with your drain souls.
But there's also like the other NPC in the room that will like randomly shoot you. You can't do anything about it, but she will stop shooting you when you reach 40 sanity.
Okay. That's
I
cool.
was getting shot on first PTR at least, all the way down to 0 just from Sarah.
Really?
Yeah. I think they mentioned that was like pre-nerf or something, and they were leaving it in, so it's kind of like an aspect of RNG. There are ways you could game against it. I don't know if I want to mention it before a race, but
Ooh.
Sounds good to me. What about?
yeah,
I'm trying to think. Can't think of anything else for Affliction. Keep Shadow Embrace up. I think that's just a bigger deal that a lot of Affliction Warlocks need to worry about in general. Is Shadow Embrace. It's very easy to do to drop.
Race,
And if it drops, like, oh well, I dropped it. I can stack it up fast, but that's a lot of damage. You know what I mean?
If you're unsure, also, and you don't have a haunt coming up, and you want to keep Shadow Embrace, like, you could just Shadow Bolt before the thing.
Low
Mhm.
rank
That
one.
just drains soul. Yeah, that's like not the worst option, but you shouldn't really need to.
Yeah. As for Demo in this phase, well, we've tried many things. We've had ways when we were progging and we had a seed because I don't have drain. I mean, might have drain, but it's not as good, right? Where I would just soulfire, turn around seed, put a couple seeds out since you can seed facing the opposite way. We tried where I'm only doing add damage. We tried where Demo locks fucking bop taunt, pull shit out of the way. It was miserable. I hated it. And then it boiled down to what I think is the best. I think I got it from Nemo as well. Was Soulfire. Like you use Soulfire, you keep your dots up and you're Soulfiring. I also keep up corruptions, a couple corruptions on the other one for Molten Core procs when I turn around. One of the times, just like I would for word for Affliction. And then you're spewing Soulfires. And then what I would do is I also have to go into this phase with a little more sanity, like you guys would with Affliction, because I eat sometimes. Because it'll be like a Soulfire, and I want to finish that cast of a Soulfire, which is a fast cast by itself, and then I'll snap a drain and turn around. And then so I would Soulfire, drain soul, turn around. I'm not getting a full drain off. I'd get a couple ticks, but my mana's fine. It doesn't matter. That couple ticks is better than no damage. And then I'm turning back around, and I'm probably going to re-corruption. Or if I have to corruption, I don't drain every time. I would Soulfire. It almost like an alternate. Like I would Soulfire, and then I would turn around with the drain, or I would have to Soulfire and reapply some corruptions on the boss. Whenever I'd reapply on the boss, I would just go ahead and reapply on 1 or 2 mobs, usually just like 1. Because I want more uptime on the boss. If it's where I just now turned around and I have got no drain up, then I got time to spread out some corruptions, and I'll do that over seeding, and then turn back around and I Soulfire, drain soul, turn around. Kind of like the same thing, but you're only drain souling when you don't need to reapply your corruption when you turn around, if that makes sense. Yeah, and spam Soulfire. That's what I would do. I don't know, Pummel, how did it work for you when you were demoed out?
I mean, that's basically what I did. And when I had to turn around, I threw seeds onto the Guardians because we were having trouble keeping their health
I
down.
remember that, yeah.
But only 1 or 2. Don't get greedy with it.
Mm.
The damage when they're already at 0 health and 0 light doesn't matter at all.
And remember when you're seeding that seed off the ads, so your seed blows up and hits the boss, unless it just happens naturally. But I want that to happen every time. And also, I'm stoned. 1 second, let me think about it. I just had it. Corruption, no. Immolate, no. Meta. Don't fucking meta in the earlier phase and not have your meta coming into this phase. That's a big deal. That's happened a couple times. Just be careful with it. Longer phase, and also get a good meta out of this. Like get a good your EM aura, kind of like it's more on the boss damage. If you know, well, you have a lust, obviously you're gonna rip with lust, right? But in that lust window, just like we always say, in that 30-second window, there is a better 12 seconds than there would be on the other 12 seconds, if that makes sense, for your emo aura. Stacked up ads, more. Do you have your Dying Curse proc? Then it procs, then you emo aura. Just get good value out of the emo aura. And make sure it's up for this phase. I can't think of it. Destro. Probably
This fight
probably
is
the
crazy.
worst spec that you could ever be in your life for this. I did it. I just drain sold. I just would drain sold because you can't do anything. You're just incinerating, drain sold, turn around. You know what I mean? You can't really do anything. You just kind of feel bad.
Maybe hybrid spec would be better than straight Destro if you have two.
I did the hybrid spec on here too, and it was a lot of fun. We'd only made it to phase 3 a couple times though when I did it, sadly. But that was almost the most fun spec on all of these because you're just like tentacle phase. You're just running around. You're always. It just looks like you're always pumping. Phase 1, you're always pumping because you're just single adds, and you have a little mini execute with conflag. It's just really nice. It's a lot of fun.
Cool,
Anything
baby.
else for Yogg?
Time for Algalon.
Any last minute Algalon? I mean Yoggs before Algalon.
I don't think I have anything.
Algalon, a very easy fight for us. It's not that hard of a fight. You're dodging shit and you're pumping. You're pretty much. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. You're standing there and pumping.
It's a lot to dodge.
Yeah. But we're not here to help you dodge. We're here to help you press buttons. You know what I mean? So let's go over it. Let's start with anybody who want to chime in at all. Just shut me up and chime in. Other than that, I'm just gonna fucking rant like I always do. All right, phase starts. You're fighting this guy. All specs do your normal rotation until these little stars come up. The stars that come up is it's kind of like I don't want to say spicy take, but contention, whatever the word is. 4 stars come up. Obviously, you're not supposed to waste your time on these stars. They die on their own time. However, rank 1 corruption, the last one. Out of these 4, one of them is gonna be the last one to die. On both specs. Actually, I'm lying to you. I've never done this as Affliction. But on both specs, I would keep a corruption up. A low rank 1. You cannot use a max rank 1 because it fucks up the patterns of the collapsing star dying, right? Low rank 1 does 31 damage. That is not going to make a difference of that at all, period. I don't care what anybody tells you. And it would just alternate it. Put it on a different star. It doesn't matter. That rank 1 gives you Eradication, Nightfall, and then it gives you Molten Cores. Hey, I'm flipping you off. I didn't mean to do that. But it gives you Molten Cores if you're Demolock. And so far, guys, anything? Besides the pump and dodge?
Rank 1 Shadowbolt Snipe the stars is Demo for sure.
There you go.
Keep an eye out on those. With a mouse over macro, preferably.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it without one, and I just look like an idiot, like tabbing back and forth. And
I'm surprised you made it through tier 7 without using one. I'm disappointed in you.
Hey, I had a handicap myself. Everyone else was.
Yeah. That's a good call, though. I'm glad you said that. So, rank 1 corruption, the ones over here, I can't emphasize this so much. Emphasize this enough. Make sure it's a rank 1. Like, do not max rank corruption these stars. Like, you will scuff your whole thing up, okay? They die in order. You see how they gradually die? You're not really supposed to be helping with that. They're supposed to just gradually die, and then they get low like this. Throw a rank 1 Shadow Bolt out if you're Affliction. Don't worry about draining if you're Affliction, sorry. Don't worry about draining for Affliction. If you're Demo, sorry, throw a rank 1 corruption. Rank 1 Molten Core out. That'll get your Molten Core procs. Decimation procs, send them into Algalon. Jesus Christ. Talked a lot today. Yeah. That's it. That's like, it's crazy. That's what you're dodging for those that don't know. Cosmic Smash looks like this. Dodge it. This collapsing star is going to go down. It goes down. Another one's now in the rotation, which looks like it's this one right here. This is the rotation. I think they're going to roll with the next one. This in this example would have been the one I would have corruption. Now I'm not going to corruption it. I'm corruption it. It doesn't matter because I think rank 1 corruption is 12 seconds. It's shorter than max rank 1, which is why it's less mana to cost. That's why it's less mana to cost it, because it's shorter. So you can eat 12 seconds here. That's fine. But just make sure. The only thing I can really say out of this whole thing is to make sure that you're keeping up a corruption. I have kept up 2 rank 1s. I don't know if that's worth it in terms of you spamming an Algalon. So I just keep up 1. If you guys feel like it's worth, I don't know what you guys think on that. I would just keep up 1. In normal encounters outside of Algalon, I usually, if I can, like Freya, or if I can, I would keep up like 2 corruptions for more chances. But I don't really know the math on if it's worth getting off of Algalon long enough for another global. It could be. I guess in a nutshell, it's worth it if you get the procs, right? But it's not worth it if you don't get the procs at the end of the day. Black hole comes, jump in the hole. Yeah, that's the fight, bro. Anything? Someone take it away? Anything? Can anybody add anything here? Any outside of Infernals the last minute?
I learned something on the PTR with the black hole. It's like, if you have a spell in the air and you enter the black hole, the spell will never land on Algalon. So for example, if you do a haunt right before you go in, that haunt is never going to land on Algalon. So it's never going to get the debuff. It's never going to refresh corruption. It's just not good.
That's a good call. So I would probably, in hindsight, if we're looking at this black hole right now, you're haunting earlier. Probably right when it gets off cooldown, get it off. Like the cooldown of the spell, not the cooldown of the duration, right? Just the clip early. So in the way TakeNote's saying it, Make sure Haunts up before you go in. He does, because he already knows, but now we know. So now when you go in there, if the cast might not go off, so make sure it does. In here, can you do anything in here? I put some corruptions up, but I don't know if it did
You
anything.
can put up some corruptions.
Yeah, I put I did. I didn't know. I just, my mind, if I see something when I'm playing the game, my mind's like bad. Like my mind's like, yo, corruption. So I don't know if it made a difference, but when I'm in here for the short little couple seconds you're in here, throw a couple corruptions up. They only have 50k health, but
It's scary down there. It could die.
how?
Yeah, I died once.
How are you gonna die with a rank? We gonna pull aggro with a rank 1 corruption?
No, but
Okay, so
No.
double rank 1 corruption. I don't know if it's gonna make anything, but I think it's better than nothing. Because if you go back, this is where I'm questioning now. Because if you go back up here, are those still down there, getting ticked on?
There's something that TakeNote did that was really good right before he went into his portal. Sometimes your corruption will just straight up fall off if you go into the black hole because you don't refresh it. So at the last second before he goes in, he hits it with a little drain life to refresh his corruption because he also had like PI up, and like if you have PI plus like a haste buff or something, it could totally fall off when you
Should
go
be
in
right
there.
here where he's talking about it. I think.
Yeah, so he stutter steps, does a cheeky little drain life for
Oh,
a
I
second.
see it.
to
Okay,
refresh
yep. You see that, guys? Right here.
I would recommend doing that, or unless your Shadow Bolt hits perfectly as you go in.
It's definitely something to look out for because there's a lot of things like that falling. Imagine you got that juicy boy right here, bro. He stops, gets the 1 tick off, it refreshed it, he goes inside. I like that.
Because if you look later, he barely refreshes his corruption in time.
Yeah.
Right here. So
Yeah, look right there. Yeah, good call. Good call. I like that. Yes, bro. I'm so glad we did this.
Also during those cosmic smashes, if you have a port sit down and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna port away from the cosmic smash underneath me, there is a chance that somebody was near your portal and there could be a cosmic smash to where you're porting. So look before you port.
Yeah, I like the portal. I like to be a little more out here too, to be honest.
I feel like I have so many globals that I could be throwing out that I'd rather just move during Cosmic Smash instead of Portal, because like I could just life tap, take a step to the left, refresh like Curse, like you just did there.
I put my demo portal in the middle, like where those are now, because like the stars are moving all over the place, and I was trying to like position myself so I could always snipe a star and have decimation up fully.
Yep.
But as Affliction, that sounds a lot better. Blindly porting.
That's dangerous.
Yep. So for both specs, keep up some corruptions to get your resources, i.e., Affliction, Eradication, and Nightfall, and then Demolocks have Molten Cores. Keeping up on 1 or 2 ads, at least one, rank 1, and then spam your stuff. Demos, you would be sniping this right now. Well, earlier, because it's been up for a little bit.
Kaboom.
And then get Soulfires and spam them into the boss. I was corrupting these Living Constellations our first couple pulls, but that was a little cheesy.
You don't see them? I'm kidding.
Right? I mean, I may or may not have seen them a couple times.
Warlock should help kick, or Warlock should definitely help kick those because it prevents a lot of ray damage.
There you go. Definitely should. Yeah, Fell Hunters. You guys need, I would, mouse over kicks or focus kicks. If you guys weren't spell locking that much, you didn't really need to be fair, Nax. I definitely would, if they has a cast power, try to kick it. Just get used to it. It'll make you look good too, to be honest. The fact that you're watching this right now on YouTube before Ulduar comes out and you're going to go to your raid know much more than your other Warlocks. That's big, bro. You're already going to look good, you know? Especially when all this loot, boys. You want all this loot, man. Show off, man. Player before class. Show off, boys.
Get that star shard, guys.
Yeah, bro.
Get that flare.
We talked about everything. So I guess we wrap up while we watch the rest of this. Can you guys think of anything else to add to these? It's crazy how hard this fight is, right? Like how easy it is for us Warlocks to sit here and keep a corruption up and spam into the boss, but how like big dick this fight actually really was.
I feel like if you're struggling a lot with like keeping people up and raid damage in general, you can throw in shadow wards for the explosions from the stars to help the healers a little bit when you have like free globals.
Shadow Ward's good.
Yeah.
Shadow Ward is good. Death Coil too. Pew.
For sure.
Full
For
heal.
sure. You got messed up.
What the hell?
That's what he
Never-
wrote at least.
Now we can talk trash about him now that he can't hear. Look at you cranking on this fight. Do you Inferno once it's at 20% or whatever?
No, I'm the imp boy this pull.
Oh, I'm sorry. For your
But
loss.
that doesn't work anymore, so they can never force me to imp this boss again.
Dude, look at Wendy.
Audio just
Getting-
came back.
He's owning.
Yeah,
Welcome
I mean,
back.
he's spreading some diseases.
Oh,
Why are the stars ticking down so fast? Pestilence
that's
is not part of
behavior.
Pestilence is not part of the unholy rotation. That's all I gotta say.
How do you feel about putting a
Single
corruption up
part.
on these? One corruption up on these guys. I feel like it'd be worth it.
Those die so fast.
I don't think
know.
fishing for
man.
eradication procs is generally worth it unless you have no other global to use.
Unless you're seeding, you know? That's it.
Unless it procs, right?
Yeah, if it procs, I guess it's worth
Well,
it. But
Well, here it's like you're just
We
draining.
kind of did it, boys. We talked about phase 2 BiS for specs, wish list stuff, boss by boss. We're gonna post this to YouTube tonight. You guys are all welcome to post it as well. I might even tomorrow. I may even break it down and post this whole thing. But since it's longer, just break it down and post each boss by itself. Hey guys, boom, just for easy, quick finds. I appreciate you guys.
yeah, it's fun.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
this is fun. Learned a bit too.
So YouTube world, you guys will see this tonight. If you don't hear from us, we'll make sure to check out It's Pummel on Twitch. TakeNoteTV on Twitch. It's on the description. You already know it's all laced in the descriptions. Nemo, when are you gonna start streaming, Doug?
I've been streaming a little bit here and there.
I'm
My
gonna,
Twitch is
I'm
just...
gonna force you when I get back and I come demo for you, Doug.
I'll link you my Twitch later, but I don't stream all that much. I'll probably start streaming in Ulduar a bit more, but usually just for friends.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and we'll have another little phase catch up in a couple months, man.
Absolutely.
Love you, boys.
Sounds good.
Peace.